So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Saadiq. And yes, this is the very last day of 2023. Some people will call it New Year's Eve, depending on who you ask, because I know there's a lot of people in the very woke community. It ain't the New Year. It's in spring or something like that. But anyway, for the sake of the calendar, it is New Year's Eve. Of course, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Donovan for weathering the storm this year. No pun intended, because I know y'all got a storm or something that's going to be coming up. But nevertheless, also like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or X, the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, you are family, and we also share the link so that you can come up and voice your opinion, ask a question, whatever it is. But just make sure that it is pertaining to what we are talking about. Don't get up here and lean up on the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Say what you got to say, hit it and quit it, and all that other stuff. Also, I ask that if I have not seen you on here before, show me your face so that way I can make sure that it is you and not somebody else, because this year was very traumatizing for me. Somebody came up here and showed that. Never mind. I'll leave that in my memory bank. But nevertheless, again, we are going to recap some of the things that have happened this year. Of course, I could not think of them all. So that's what I need you and Donovan for, to think of some things that I'm sure I'm going to miss, because, 365 days in a year, I can't think of everything. But anyway, y'all see the thumbnail, and I'll go over what's on the thumbnail. And then, of course, Donovan, I'm sure he'll have something. And you all, Monet, how you doing? DJ Charisma, long time no see. So anyway, I don't know how big of a crowd we'll have today, because people are preparing for New Year's Eve and, all that type of stuff. So we're here. Donovan, how are you?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year to you as well. Great to be here. I'm still here. That's the blessing within itself that we are still here, because a lot of people have checked out this year. A lot of family members for me have gone on to be with the ancestors. Some of them are very shocking that actually happened. So again, Happy New Year's to everybody getting ready to come up. But do us a favor. You guys see that scrolling banner at the bottom there? If you so desire, and you guys know the routine. If you want to donate and give 100% of your data, that is the best way to do it. Also want to remind you about the African Diaspora News Channel app. Please go ahead over there and sign up, or the AfricanDiasporaNews.org. Sign up over there. We're really pushing that because the censoring is going out of control. Nobody is more autocratic than the Democratic Party. So they don't want us waking you guys up and you guys passing on this information to other people, waking them up, because the Democratic Party is anti-democracy. You can see why them keeping Biden off the any challengers to Biden off of the primaries, not even having any primaries. That is totally undemocratic, meaning they have no respect for you as the American people. So please go to that app, look at it, sign up. That way we could talk about stuff that we want to talk about, and we don't have to spend so much time here, and we can talk over there, and the revolution will not be televised. Again, we want to thank you guys for this year. You guys have done a great job being co-hosts. Some of you guys keep coming in late. I haven't docked your pay yet because I've been nice to y'all, but we want to thank you guys for spreading the word and keeping the Demetra K Show going as strong as it does. So a lot of stuff to talk about. I got a lot of stuff that I want to bring up that happened this year, because I'm not a this year person. I am a next year person. So let's get into it, Demetra, and let's see where everybody is going. And again, we thank you guys, because I know some of y'all are getting into your bustiers, and you're doing all your little stuff and putting on your eyelashes and your hair hat, and you get ready to go out and turn up. So we want to thank you for giving a couple of hours to spend with us.
Wow. Well, I just want to say, by the time New Year's actually comes, New Year's Eve, I'll be asleep for the New Year. So y'all tell me how it goes. Anyway, so of course, as y'all might have seen, and who else came on here, or Neva, how you doing? Panther Strike, what's going on with you? Black America and Jude Machal, how are you? DJ Charisma says, I just finished my ab workout, so mentally I feel amazing. All right, now, did you do a sit-up for me? But nevertheless, my daughter actually helped me comprise this list, because my brain was in a fog. So this is not in any particular order, but one of the most notable things that happened, of course, you guys know, was the Alabama brawl that took place in Montgomery, where the captain of one of the ferry boats there, he was trying to tell the white people that was in the way, their little boat was in the way. He was like, yo, they trying to come in, bring the ferry in. Y'all need to move your boat. Right. And of course, they pretty much told him no, roughed him up, and then the rest is history. Y'all saw, all of our folks jump off the boat, swimming out of the water, all kind of stuff to help the brother that was in distress from the white supremacists, attacking him. Of course, y'all saw the infamous chair. I also put that in the thumbnail that was used to neutralize what I guess we can perceive as a threat. That chair has been iconic. We've seen it all over shirts. We've seen it in earrings. We've seen it everywhere, right? The chair has done interviews. And a whole host of things. It was a proud moment in Black American history in 2023.
The funny thing is, you bring up at the chair. My favorite picture, I think I sent it to you, was the one where they had the iconic Malcolm. Look, I love that one. I mean, that was to me iconic to use it that way.
Yeah, I've seen a whole host of memes. I saw him with a do-rag and some slides on his feet. It's like, okay. So nevertheless, that was a memorable moment. And some people probably say it was the most memorable moment. The next that I have on this list is Blacks for Trump in Chicago. Of course, we know what has been going on with the migrants there in Chicago and, New York and other democratically ran states and cities where Black residents are like, we're not putting up with it anymore. We have voted for y'all. Of course, we have gotten nothing for it. And now you guys have started to help the migrants to the tune of billions of dollars collectively, and have left Black people out in the cold. And so specifically there in Chicago, the residents say, hey, we're going to flip Chicago red. And we want to have a conversation with Trump. We also want to have a conversation with the Republicans because the Democrats are done. That is a quote. That is what they said. The Democrats are done here. Of course, we know recently they elected that of Mayor Brandon Johnson there in Chicago. He's Black. He's also thumbed his nose at Black people, even after he, during the campaign season, says, oh, you know what, we're going to get it done. I'm going to help everybody. I'm going to help Black people, Then, of course, he didn't help Black people, still ain't help Black people. He's asking Black people to actually help the migrants, right? So I think that's very notable that Democrats, Black Democrats all over the United States are starting to get on code because they have seen the writing on the wall. Like, okay, for real, that voting blue, no matter who, has gotten us more of nothing. Of course, y'all saw I have Mr. Sean P. Diddy Combs on there as well. Now, some people say, well, why is that notable? Well, because we've heard a lot about P. Diddy over the last, I'd say 30 years of his business dealings with certain people and things like that, working them out of a lot of money and contracts, just a bunch of misdealings, right? But this particular incident with Cassie Ventura, she was a longtime girlfriend of Diddy. She dropped the other shoe, let's put it that way, dropped the other shoe and revealed some things about Diddy that I guess kind of were talked about within the realms of their circle. And some people have heard about it, but they kind of just dismissed it. Well, she leveled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against him, alleging a whole host of abuse and just everything you can think of, right? Well, originally he said he wasn't going to settle but within 24 hours, he did settle with her for an undisclosed amount of money. And then, of course, from that point, a lot of other people came out with different stories of abuse and, allegations of him potentially, taking people out of here. Even yesterday, Al B. Sure, he put some sort of esoteric post up on his Instagram story about the truth coming out and kind of like everybody knew. And, when people were talking about it before, they didn't believe it. But now, it's kind of being revealed. So some people are wondering, what exactly was he talking about? Because it is rumored that he has done some underhanded things to Al B. Sure. Al B. Sure was married to Kim Porter, which was also P. Diddy's girlfriend. They had some children together. All right. Of course, as I said, we've heard a lot about Diddy. Now, of course, that came with the law in New York that was coming to a close that basically said that people had a certain amount of time to file, for certain sexual crimes, I guess pertaining to adults or whatever. So a lot of people took the opportunity to do that. We've heard a lot of other people get accused of things. And so I think that was pretty notable. Of course, Diddy has lost a lot of contracts and, I'm assuming money at this point, although he and his lawyer said that he's innocent. He did not do any of those things. And that's what they said. Now I put Russell Wilson on the list because somebody actually brought it to my attention. I kind of seen little bits about it. Of course, Donovan, you can fill me in as soon as I'm done with this. But Russell Wilson is a football player for the Denver Broncos, right? Denver Broncos, and it sounds like he was benched due to contractual issues. Specifically, they wanted him to get rid of an injury clause in a contract. Now, it sounds like a contract that's supposed to start next year with for 5 years. That was going to pay him $245 million. Now, within that contract, there's an injury clause that basically says whether he's injured or not. And I think for 2024 and 25, he's guaranteed $37 million per year. But I guess the Denver Broncos, are saying, well, I don't know if we really want to guarantee him that. So they told him, I guess they told him some time ago, that if you do not forego that clause, then we are going to bench you. So Russell was like, well, I'm not going to get rid of the clause. So they benched him with 2 games left in the season. That sounds like he had an all right season. Of course, he is a 9-time Pro Bowler and all of that. But yeah, he said he was surprised and disappointed that they did that. Now, of course, some people are saying that there's an issue with the new coach, Sean Payton, and that he maybe doesn't like Russell. Of course, some other stuff has come out that Russell is some sort of a diva. He doesn't want to be a team player. And he thinks he's better than everybody else and those type of things, right? So to me, that is notable for the simple fact that we've heard a lot of things about the NFL. We know that the NFL is to the tune of about 70% Black players. Of course, we heard problems with Kaepernick and a whole host of other things. And so it's like, you ain't special. You ain't special. Now, I know that Russell seems to be sort of like a diva, the sweetheart of the NFL, but, he is Black. He's Black at the end of the day. And so I think them doing what they're doing to him also proves at the end of the day, yeah, you're a good player and all sort of stuff, but you're still Black. What do we want to do to you? Now, whether they've done that to another player, I don't know. I'm speaking above my head. Moving right along, also want to pay homage to that of dear brother Gary Wayne Monroe. Of course, y'all know that Donovan and I have sat on the war zone with him for about a year, give or take, probably more give than anything. Gary Monroe was an activist here in the Houston area, where he was specifically an education advocating. He advocated on behalf of the children at Houston ISD, specifically, and other places as well. He's also gone in other places in the United States. Well, you guys know that he passed away in April unexpectedly, and it was a shock to everybody because he was, so much a voice and a force to be reckoned with. Y'all saw him do things like show up at people's houses with bull horns and, don different outfits and costumes, going up to city councils and a whole host of things to get people's attention and basically say, y'all need to do right by these children. And so a lot of people, especially not just in the Houston area, but I would say all over, are still trying to grapple with his death. Now, recently, his voice has gone viral on TikTok. I've seen and heard a lot of people use his voices and voiceovers and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. But so anyway, RIP to Gary Wayne Monroe. Of course, The Color Purple has re-pissed off Black men in America. Of course, you know that there's a remake of The Color Purple. And a lot of people, this is kind of what I really would think is more shocking. They didn't know it was a musical. Oh my God, it's a musical. A lot of people said they walked out, they fell asleep. Of course, the same old argument of them making Black men look bad. So I think that was notable. Also, it looks like it tanked a little bit from the opening box office day. It sounds like it was the biggest Christmas box office opening, and then it was kind of like the biggest drop as well. You get around people talking about, nah, I sucked, I fell asleep, it's a musical, and all that. I think that would probably hurt it. Then, of course, last on my list is the Nation of Islam files a lawsuit, a $4.8 billion lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League due to infringing upon their First Amendment rights and also labeling them as anti-Semitic, claiming defamation. So, of course, that is a federal lawsuit. We're going to see how that is going to play out. But we know that it is no secret that the Nation of Islam has been falsely labeled by that of the Anti-Defamation League for being anti-Semitic and all those things. But as I said, that is going to be very interesting because as Farrakhan said, that has hurt not only him, but the nation. Has cost them a lot of opportunities and money and just reputation. And so they want to be vindicated for that. So again, that will play out. And that's what's at the end of my list. Of course, I'll get to you guys' comments. But Donovan, what kind of list do you got going on? I rule the day that I asked, but go ahead.
I was going to say ditto everything that you said was what I was going to say, but I'm going to add to it a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. By the way, longtime congressman and congressional talker and do nothing, Bernice Johnson, died in her home in Dallas. She was a representative from the Dallas area, long time, been in Congress for a long time, and ain't got shit to show for it. So much respect to her. And, you know, I'm just talking about her time in Congress. She didn't do nothing for Black people. So much respect to her family, because when a person dies, they die. Much respect to her. So I would like to talk about the way that to Monique, the way Monique said years ago about how Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and everybody did her wrong, and the pay disparity with Netflix and all that other stuff, bringing it to light. But the sisterhood refused to join with her. And now we have the sisterhood trying to up Taraji P. Henson, and rightly so, bringing it to light. I mean, she brought that up years ago. Just think where they would be from now until then. I think, Demetra, I sent you a meme showing the disparity between Taraji and the white lady on Grey's Anatomy, whatever show that is. I don't really watch TV. And it's a significant thing. A lot of people say, well, she needs a better agent. Of course she needs a better agent. But at the point of the point is, there's always been a pay disparity between everybody. Now, I want you ladies, because you guys do not think logically, and I'm not trying to be insulting, you guys think emotionally first. You guys go by your emotions first. You don't, your logic comes in it when it's after the fact. You got to understand this. You got to understand this. Just because you and I play the same sport or we're in the same art doesn't mean we're going to get the same pay. Just because you play basketball in a women's professional league doesn't mean you get to get Michael Jordan pay or whatever it is. You know, you guys got to understand that. It's two different things. So we got to get that. I also want to bring up the fact that Deontay Wilder, who's never fought anybody, has finally been exposed. When he does fight somebody of a decent caliber, the man can't fight. The man can't fight. And in the sweet science, you got to know how to box. You got to know how to, and he's been exposed. He's been in 3 fights since Tyson Fury, and he's only won 1 of them. And it was against his former sparring partner. The man cannot fight. He needs to retire. He was a fraud from the beginning. If you look at his resume, the man never fought anybody. He's one of the most protected boxers I have ever seen. Border issues. I'm going to say to the Democrats, you guys, if Joe Biden and the Democrats wanted to stop the border issue, why are they not suing Greg Abbott in Texas to put a moratorium on it until it's figured out? Has Joe Biden even tried, his Justice Department even tried to sue Greg Abbott? Not once, because this is the policy that they want to attack you. And I am so glad, Demetra, that Black people are finally waking up and seeing that the Democratic Party is attacking us directly. They're no longer hiding it. They're attacking it. They don't even give a damn about our vote anymore. They don't even give a damn. In California, Demetra, as you know, because you're trying to get back here, even though we don't want you back. Once you turn your back on California, you're out. They just approved health care for illegal immigrants. They just approved it. Driver's license, now health care. Who's going to pay for that? We are. This is the Democratic status against Black people, but yet you have Black people that don't have health care, that don't have housing, that don't have any of this, but for some reason, when you break our laws and come here illegally, the Democratic Party's policy is to give you everything you need. So I want to bring that up because a lot of people are seeing it and realizing we don't have a chance. I also want to bring up the Democratic Party this. Home ownership in the United States is now a dream and a joke. Do you guys realize There should be a law that should stop banks from owning homes. There should be a law. They should not be able to buy swaths of land, build homes on it, and rent out. The American dream is now to rent it, not to own it. It is to rent. And these are Democratic policies. Is the Democrats doing anything in regards, let's just say, the American people as a whole? No. 50% of homeless people across the United States as a whole are Black. 70% in California alone that are homeless are Black. 1 million veterans are homeless. These are the people that have put their lives on the line so you guys can watch this broadcast and go out and party and do all the things you want to do. We can't seem to solve the American taxpayers' homeless issue, but we could give people $9,000 a month, stipend, food, everything they need, but we can't seem to do anything for ourselves. Big up to the jury in Ahmaud Arbery's conviction, giving them life, didn't want to hear it. The guy that was eating cornflakes, they keep denying the lady that was convicted for that. Big ups, because the guy that was shot in his apartment, I forgot the name.
Botham John.
Botham John. Big ups to the people that are denying her appeals to try to hurry up and get out of jail and do all that other good stuff. Again, would this even be an issue if we got qualified immunity, if we got a federal task force, all this other stuff, even though we know federal task force only deals with federal. But the point is, they could institute a law that says Black people are now a protected class, just like they did for the Asians. Simple and cut. So there's a lot more to it, but I want to hear what you guys want to say. And I'm just going to say I'm thankful that people are now finally waking up. The question is it too late?
Absolutely. Okay, that's some good stuff. And hello to everybody that came on here. Tisha, how you doing? It says even Marriott, Hilton, Pillow are homeowners renting out homes as well under the guise of Airbnb. Yeah, they said some places Airbnb has inundated neighborhoods and areas to where, it's hard for people to even rent or buy a home because a lot of people are just buying them. I know Zillow wasn't in the Airbnb, but at the time when real estate was going up a couple years back, they bought a lot of homes that they could not offload. And so, it's becoming a nightmare for a lot of people. So Zillow got you, Zillow.
Yeah. Do you guys realize that 43% of all home ownership, homes that are being bought by banks? 43% of all sales are being bought by banks. And now you're going to move into a community where you could rent the American dream. They want the millennials and Generation Zs to be permanent renters. They don't want you guys to have anything. This is where we're at. If we don't rise up soon, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah. And it is pretty bad. The millennial generation, hell, the Gen X and anybody else, it's hard for them to, buy a home. I mean, I was looking at some real estate prices not too long ago in California. I was like,
you're competing against people that are coming up with cash. The banks are giving it straight out, buying it cash. How many of us regular people can say, here's an $800,000 median home in California, $800,000 median home. So technically, you guys, you're looking at a millionaire. You're looking at a millionaire. 800,000. How many people can just say, here's 800,000 or here's $1 million cash, I want the house? Not many of us can do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it's been for a long time. Cash is king, right? So they usually give it to people who can buy the house outright. So that's not anything new. However, some of these real estate prices is like, I ain't got that kind of money laying around. Like you said, California, the median price range for a house is what, $600,000, $100,000. So, who has that laying around, let alone some of the 20% down payment that a lot of these banks are asking for. A lot of people aren't going to qualify for zero down,
And then you got to think about some of these rentals across the nation. They're now asking for 6 months rent in advance. It's no longer the 3. They're going for the 6. Where's the legislation? Where's the protection of the American people? Where are we supposed to go? Who do you know that has 6 months in advance that you might not get back when your kids tear up the place or whatever the situation is?
Yeah, I mean, even the 3 months of rent, they actually want you to make 3 times the rent, So let's say if your rent is $2,000, they want you to be making $6,000 a month. I mean, I don't know how many people are actually making $6,000 a month, but it's not a lot. So it's like, who do you expect to rent that out to? And not only that, then they want the first and the last, and all this other stuff. So it's like, wow, all that to move in, and then a lot of times the places don't even be all of that. For you, this is like, where am I moving into? The Taj Mahal? So yeah, things are getting bad out there. Panther Strike, how you doing? Says family, Black Wall Street and Rosewood are examples of our power. We did it before. We can do it again. I totally agree with you. They knew how to practice group economics. Although times were a little bit differently for them because that's all they had was each other. At the civil rights movement, then we thought we'd go move around and be next to them and dilapidating our communities. And it has not been the same since, but we need to get back into the mind frame of our ancestors before the civil rights movement. And Miss Sweets, you say bank and investment groups are purchasing all the properties, especially during the pandemic and PPP epidemic. And Zillow was one of them, and they had a lot of houses that they got stuck with, kind of, because we know real estate prices ballooned, and a lot of the people who bought the houses and during that era, they're going to be upside down if not already, because the real estate market is coming down a little bit. They dropped the interest rate like 1%, which is not much, right? Because it's still in the sevens, or close to 7 probably at this point. So there's a lot to be considered there. Michael, how you doing? Says Democrats are discriminating against Americans and are treating immigrants and migrants better. They are the buffer class. They think they are going to come over and replace many other people, but of course that's not necessarily the case. So they're giving a lot of money and resources away to migrants in the faces of taxpayers. Especially with the Democratic Party. Black people who have gotten them in there, they didn't get in there with the help of migrants. They got in there on the backs of Black people. So absolutely, we the people. How you doing? He says,
go ahead.
He says, Black person up in here in the Bay Area, Solano County, Fairfield, California, by Dixon.
That's Travis Air Force Base. I lived right there. I was there for 3 years.
He says Dixon, the corporation, bought land to have the first rent-only community. Good to know. Interesting.
And then everybody think about this in the last year. How many reparations commissions have been stood up only to come out with nothing? Another study, and another study. Where's Ralph Warnock? Mr. I preach at Martin Luther King's church. Where's he at? Quiet, silence from the CBC. And I'm glad a lot of Black people now are waking up about the CBC. I'm glad about that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out, Tisha. He says there's a documentary about the Black Wall Street. I'm going to watch that tomorrow when I'm doing nothing. I plan to do.
And there's another movie on Tubi you need to check out. I'm sure you're going to see it when you see it.
I try to stay.
Black art at its finest.
I try to stay away from Tubi. The last movie I watched on Tubi was Bissonnette. I said, I'll be damned. You won't get me again. You will not get me again. It was more like a comedy. Anything I've ever watched on Tubi has become like a comedy because it's like they can't be for real. It's like we can see the mic boom in the shot, and yeah. But Tubi is putting a lot of people to work, so I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna check that documentary out tomorrow. And JJ Mars, you said real estate is a boom bust cycle. It will bust soon. Yep, and that's what a lot of experts are saying. One who cares how you doing. He says my tenants wouldn't pay a $650 and try to destroy our property. Yeah, and that's the downside of rental as well. Sometimes you have people in there who don't care about the property. So I understand some of the requirements that they ask of tenants. Hey, let's talk to your old landlord to see how you treated their property, and let's look at your credit, because credit matters too. Have you dipped out on landlords before? Have you destroyed properties? Have you had any evictions? So that kind of stuff is very important, but most people do not do those things. And so most people who need a place to stay, they're being punished for the behavior of a few people.
Yeah, well, Dimitri, but here in California, especially when the 2008 housing crisis happened, of course, these people were dealt with predatory lenders and also real estate agents who just wanted to make the profit and go about their business, right? You had people that were like destroying the property just because they can do it. And the bad thing was, if you're a landlord or an owner, you can't get blood from a turnip. So even if you got a judgment against that person to repair your property or to fix it right, you really can't enforce it because the courts will be the first one to tell you, okay, you got your judgment, now go get it. What can you do? So it's like the owners get it from both ends with no Vaseline.
Billy Andrews, I'm not sure what your angle is. But say one more thing on here. And that reminds me too. I gotta work on my moderators. I think maybe did I throw my list away?
I'm doing the best I can, Miss David.
No, I hope I didn't. I can find my list of moderators. Oh, I have to look and see. Hopefully, I didn't throw them away. They're here somewhere. That people who said they wanted to be a moderator, but nevertheless, Billy, watch it, or you're gonna find yourself up out of here. Yvette, how you doing? It says Black people waking up late, like an old click or cliche. I think you meant better late than never. Okay. Michael says Finland does not have a homeless crisis because it does not allow big corporations to treat housing like a commodity. Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is here. Of course, in other places in the world, they're a little bit more kind to their citizens. Here, not so much. Panther Strike says we came out of slavery, cut illiteracy 63%, built townships, and enriched each other through Black businesses and services. We are the descendants of financial wizards and thinkers. You better believe it. We built not only this country, we have built this planet, okay? We are the descendants of pyramid builders, point blank, period. Every other civilization, every other race has thrived off of Black people. They could not be who they are and do what they're doing if it has not been for Black people, as I said, not just here, but everywhere in the world. So you're absolutely right. If we have built Black Wall Streets and the like before, we can do it again. We just need to get the brainwashing of the oppressor out of our system and just really go for it. Because at this point, what else has Trump said? What do you got to lose?
Well, do you know what I think our biggest problem is, Demetra? As a people, we are too accommodating. We are too welcoming. When other people come in the neighborhood, be it white, Hispanic, whatever, we're so welcoming. We need to start being like them and worry about our own first. Once we start doing that, maybe these people will start respecting us a little bit more. Because isn't it funny that Israel is doing a genocide, supposedly, and yet they're quick to talk about, well, the Black folks need to support us, and they call us all kinds of names because we're like, we got our own problems. Not that we don't support Israel, we don't know what's going on. We need to start doing like they do and just say, you know what, it's about us. The Asians ain't worried about anybody else but themselves. We got to stop being so welcoming and accommodating to other groups.
Hello, Patty. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have to stop being so accommodating. But we are the only, I say, some of the only people, that welcome everybody, no matter what, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. We are very forgiving, and we turn the other cheek, and all that other stuff. So that has to stop. We do need to practice first law of nature, which is self-preservation. Care about us first, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every other race cares about themselves first. They put themselves first, and they always have, and they always will. We as Black people, we need to get to that point where we put ourselves first. I'm sorry, I can't help you until, we help ourselves. And that includes going to the polls. We know that when we go to the polls, we predominantly vote Democrat as Black voters. But when we do that, we help everybody else. That doesn't help us. And we've seen it time and time again. And as I said in the beginning, the Democrats in, the Black Democrats in Chicago and New York and places like that, they're saying, we're not doing that anymore. How dare you? They fell for the banana in the tailpipe with that of Brandon Johnson. All right, he Black. My thing is, though, you saw Mayor Lori Lightfoot thumb her nose at every damn body, especially Black people. And she was a one-term mayor, first time in 40-year history of Chicago. They got her up out there. She didn't get a second term, and so they brought in another Black Democrat who sat up there. And I'm sure he probably said, hey, Lori, can I get your campaign talking points? Oh, yeah, sure. I don't need them anymore. So he read off of them, verbatim. And then the Black voters fell for the same thing. He wasn't even in there 2 seconds before he said, psych, I'm not helping y'all. I'm helping these migrants. And now it's come back to bite them because they don't even have the space, the money, or any of that stuff to even help them. And now Black Democrats there in Chicago said, no, you done here, buddy. You done.
Absolutely. And, and I just think that, that would help a lot of our issues and our problems, because all of these resources that, here in California and the border states, we've been dealing with this invasion, because that's what it is. Brother Phil said it excellent. This invasion that we are having to the detriment of the next generation of people in America, be it black, white, whatever. Think about this. And Brother Phil said this. He said that he has a friend that's on the border, whatever, that works with the border patrol or whatever. And he's saying you're seeing military-aged men just walking into the country. Why isn't that an alarm to a bunch of people? Can we go to another country and just walk across their borders? Hell, we can't even go into Mexico without a gun being pointed to your head illegally. I mean, they're not playing. Why is it that we can't defend the borders? And that's what people got to understand. If you have no borders, I know people don't like Trump, but some of the things he says is correct. If you do not have a border, you do not have a country. The European Union, that is now a borderless spot. And when you don't have a border, you don't have sovereignty over your nation. Look it up. Sovereignty meaning you have the say of what goes on in your nation. That's why Britain is trying to get out. A lot of nations are trying to get out, because when your borders are just open like that and other nations have a bigger population than you, you have less say. So we got to understand, I am not against immigration. California deals with migrants all the time. If it wasn't for migrants, who's going to pick the tomatoes? Who's going to do this? Who's going to pick the peach trees and all this other stuff? We have it all the time. The point is, these people are here, they're vetted, and then they go back to where they're coming from. We've got to do that. We've got to control our borders. It's not racist to say, hey, come in here the right way.
Panther Strike, thank you so much for the donation. I love and appreciate you for that. Say, family, be stingy about everything concerning our Black community. We are not to support anyone who does not or has never supported us. Group economics, it's all FBA. You're absolutely right. And, we've been taught that for a long time, but somehow we got off track. We thought, no, if we do for everybody else, they'll somehow, help us and see us as good people. See, that's the other thing too. We as Black people, we are so concerned with how everybody else sees us. Well, we just want them to know that we are good people. And one of the things that I hate too is, like, if somebody Black is seen doing something in the media or whatever, if some of us say that's why they don't like us now, that's why white people don't like us. It's like, educate yourself. They didn't like you when they was loading your ancestors up on those ships and having your ancestors bend over in those fields picking cotton and using and abusing your mama, your grandmama, your children, and your men. They didn't like you then. So anything that you could do that they were highlighting in the media, that ain't why they like you. They ain't never liked you. They never gonna like you. But you know what? As they say in the nation, accept your own and be yourself. Accept yourself. That's all that matters. Like me, I don't wake up in the morning and say, well, I just hope the whole world accepts me, because if the whole world accepts me, then I feel like I'm a worthy person. No, I wake up and be like, I accept myself, period. End of the story. If everybody else accepts me, good. But if they don't, that's good too, because I matter to me. And so that's what we need to be as Black people. We matter to us first and only, period. No explanation is needed. So absolutely. Hello, M. How are you doing? And Yashawn, what's going on with you? Happy New Year to you as well. From Los Angeles. And Miss Sweet says, Trump wanted borders. Yeah, he did. It's like you said, Panther Strike, when they said build the wall, people were like, that's racist. Now let's keep it a buck. Trump did say some, racist stuff. We ain't gonna lie to kick it. He did. But I think his intentions were in the right place, as we can now see, right? Michael says, Demetri, you are forgetting that your people assisted immigrants and migrants with getting business loans. I would say that immigrants and migrants need to do the same for Black people. They're not going to do that. They not, never have, never will. The only thing that they want to interact with Black people when we go into their businesses and we give them Black dollars and they don't give the money back at all in any way, shape, or form to the Black community. They're not going to do that. And the other thing is, why should they? Who's going to make them do that? Black people have not insisted that since you in our communities, then y'all need to give back. No, the minute they open up something, we around the block, in whatever establishment they have. We have no loyalty to self. We are loyal to everybody else. And then let somebody from another community do something to us. some of us will line up and protect them. I'll leave Mr. Charlie alone. He's nice to us. And, all that other stuff, instead of saying, nah, Mr. Charlie, you ain't been acting right up in here, so you got to go. And in fact, interview or vet Mr. Charlie. What you coming in our neighborhood for? You going to give back to the reighborhood? What are you doing? You just coming here to rake a bag up and put it over your shoulder and go home every night to it? Well, like, what is your intentions here other than making money? See, we need to get to that point. And then if we can't do that, then we need to go to the city council meeting, the city planning meeting, and say, nah, Mr. Charlie can't bring them old chicken and rice houses up in here. We got enough chicken and rice, okay? We can make our own chicken and rice. We don't need that from them. That's where we need to get to.
Absolutely. And then here's another thing, you guys. I know it's been festive this time of year and it's cold and we don't go outside as much as we would during the summertime and the fall and stuff. So it's a little cold and a lot of us are catching up on those bills because you gave your kids a great Christmas and put yourself in debt. That's fine. Dimitri, do you want to know what I did today? And I always do it. I walk my dog every day. And as I was walking my dog, I saw the graffiti that some of these badass Mexican-ass kids, because I live in a Mexican neighborhood, I'm going to say that because I live in a Mexican neighborhood, are doing, right? I called in on the city app. A lot of cities have it where you can call it in, because basically they want you to do the work that they're supposed to be doing, when you have these city people that run around the code enforcement. So, they don't want to increase code enforcement, so they want you to do it. So, and you know what? I don't agree with it because I'm paying more in taxes, but I kind of understand it. It's my responsibility to make sure my community and my neighborhood looks to standard or look a certain way, right? Because these people can't be everywhere, however they're going to be, right? So I see the graffiti that was going on, and I just took pictures of it, used my city app, and I called it in. And I know by Monday or whenever by Wednesday, all that stuff's going to be removed. So I'm going to tell a lot of people, take it upon yourself to not let these demons gentrify or lower the property values in your neighborhood. You can do something about it. Not only do that, but go to the city council meetings, or if you can't make it to the city council meeting, send an email to your representative because that's a public record. It goes into the public record of what you don't like and whatever to keep your values up. And Dimitri, I remember I told you the other day, the homeless lady that lived in the park, that she passed away, right? When you have a homeless encampment, that brings your property values down, right? Again, she's passed away, whatever, and it was a problem. Now she's gone. It's not a problem. You want to stay on top of your community. It's going to take you. We can't keep electing these people. What was her name from Missouri? Cori Bush or whatever her name is. They put out all this, we're doing this. And they always want to speak on stuff, Israel and everything, but they don't speak on our stuff. But we elect them into these offices. It's on us to do that. And that's what I did. I did today. I went around my neighborhood, wherever there was graffiti or broken bottles or whatever, I called it in. I put it on the record and I called it in. And that's what we need to do to ensure our neighborhoods. We need to start doing that. These people are not coming to save us.
They're absolutely not. So y'all want to come on here and say or talk about something that was notable in 2023? If you would like to do that, put a yes or whatever in the chat, and I'll include the link. All I ask again is that I have not seen you on here before. Please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen. And, try to keep your commentary as short as possible, especially if we have other people trying to come up here. But I'm very interested in knowing what it is that you guys thought was notable. I think, Donovan, you are remiss in not mentioning that the Cowboys seem like they're having a pretty good season this year, aren't they? Or no?
They're having a good season. They just secured, because the Eagles lost, the number 2 slot in the playoffs. But as a long-suffering Cowboy fan, and by the way, Jimmy Johnson just got indoctrinated into the Ring of Honor, long overdue. But as a long-time Cowboy fan, no matter how good the Cowboys get right now, they're in the middle of a collapse. They just lost their last game. They're in the middle of a collapse. So they do well. They have the great people, but they just collapse toward the end. So.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, I don't see anybody saying they want to come on here yet. So I will wait until I see somebody saying they want to come on here. And Miss Wee Talk, you say Happy New Year, everyone. So back to you. Do y'all have any plans for this evening, Donovan? What are you gonna do? What are you doing this evening? Okay, so Michael, you want to come on?
I went to my favorite spot, Winco, the best chicken in the world, and I got me a 4-piece, and I will be sitting here because it's really sad, Demetra. Here's the sad thing, and here's the truth, and maybe some of you guys I'm significantly older than most of you guys. Okay, so the 90s was a good run, right? We had a good run. We were dressing, we were dancing, having a good time, and all that other stuff. But now you let the younger generation that been raised by these hyenas and all this other stuff, they don't know how to act, and they're shooting people and doing all this. So you really can't have any fun. And the sad thing is, Dimitri, and you know this, the Checkers is gone, Monopolies is gone, the Metro is gone. There's no place we can actually go and have fun, especially at our age where we're at, or at least where I'm at today. And I'm have to go into LA. And then I don't want to go into LA because what's going to happen? It's a 60-minute, well, really 2-hour drive, whatever it is, to get there. And you don't want to be, partying and then having to get on that highway because you got a lot of crazy folks out there that are just going to ram into you. Just the other day, there was a car that just right in front of me, in front of the stoplight, slammed and just did it. And, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but you have a lot of immigrants here that drive as if they're from their home country, and they don't really understand the signs and the lights and all that other stuff. And so I don't want to do that. So it's really sad that being in the Inland Empire, I really can't go anywhere because Demetra and her girlfriends closed down the bases. They closed down the bases. They said, no more of this, no more all-nighters. So it's limited.
Well, as I said to y'all, I'm not doing anything for a lot of those reasons. And, I don't feel like going anywhere. To me, it's a Sunday night. I don't even really see it as New Year's Eve. It just doesn't feel like it. I worked all day. So, I don't know. I just don't feel like it. And like I said, I feel like a Sunday evening. And Sunday evening, I just want to go to bed because I've, hit the ground running all week. So that's what I'll do until they start popping loud fireworks. Donovan and his damn screensaver. Until they start popping loud fireworks. And I guess I'll be up with everybody else. And so Michael, you say you want to come on, and Panther, you say I plan on studying my Python programming lessons, Queen Demetra. Okay, so you're
gonna I'm gonna work on my Spanish and stuff. Just sit in the house and just chill, just sit here.
I'm gonna work on watching my eyelids to make sure they're okay. Make sure.
And then plus, remember, Demetra, if I party now, that's money I won't have when I get back to the Dominican Republic. So I might as well just sit and just be calm and
eat your chicken. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. And let's see here, Miss Sweets. Talkie say I got some chicken too, and hope I wake up at 12:01 to celebrate. If not, I'll sleep good into the new year. I know I'm gonna sleep good. The only reason why I know I wake up is because of the fireworks. They're pretty loud. The other night they popped something. It sounded like some bombs was going off. I was like, "Is this it? Is this Armageddon?" Like, I was too tired to even think about getting up and running. I'm like, "Well, if this is it, this is it."
Look, it's partly raining and cloudy here, but I expect to hear some pops and shouts and some all night long.
Well, Black America, let's start getting married. Not me and you, but I'm just saying, let's start getting married then, so we can have a community. How about that? Lene, how you doing? You says last summer's strip tease at Biden's White House. What was that all about?
Well, I think he's talking about where the coke was found and all that. They were getting down last in the White House last year. How does coke show up and nobody knows where it came from?
Thunder, you crazy. How you do? He says it probably bombs. It sounded like it was. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go out this way. Earlier this year, I was on a Spirit aircraft and it kept on dropping like it was going to fall out the sky. I'm screaming my head off on the plane. I'm like, surely, God, you have not brought me this far to die like this. And so he has not brought me this far to, die in my sleep via a bomb. I'm just saying, I know God's got a lot in store for me, but I hope that they were not bombs, but you're right. Anything is possible here. All right, I'm going to open up the link. Come on here. Tell me what you thought was notable this year, okay? And or what your plans are. Let's keep it there. What you thought was notable? And I don't know, you can tell us about a New Year's resolution if you have one. Do y'all do New Year's resolutions? Well, we're going to find out. So I'm going to put the link here in the comment section. Again, please let me see your face if I have not seen you on here before. because I saw that we had a troll on here, and God forbid one of them come up on here, I'm gonna be mad. All right, so link is live in the chat. Let's see here. Tisha, he says, I'm home with my daughter and my partner. In New York is crazy. I'm over. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Someplace like New York City, of course, that's where they dropped the ball and all those people are conjugated there. I actually, I don't want to say it was the pleasure, but I had the opportunity to go to Las Vegas a few times on New Year's Eve. And I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I went like 3 times. I'm like, every year I went, I'm like, why? Why did I put myself through that? One year we almost got caught in a stampede, and my father, he went with us. He was me, my father, my sister, a couple of our friends. And so we were trying to get down to the Treasure Island at the time. That goes to show you how long ago it was, because it's not even there anymore, right? So we were trying to get down there where they were going to do all these, festivities and all this other stuff. And then the cops, for whatever reason, on one end of the strip, they were pushing the crowd one way. And then the crowd was like, no, we're going to make it. And somehow we're in the middle. We are caught in the middle. It was one of the scariest things ever. So my father, being a very tactical man mentally, he was like, everybody hold on to me. And so my dad just started throwing bows. Bam, bam, bam. He just started throwing bows and clearing the way, right? He says, whatever you do, don't fall. If you fall, it's a wrap. So then my dad is throwing bows and we behind him. And then we get to the spot where this person that was in a wheelchair and everybody around them was forming a circle like, you guys are going to crush this person, But my dad was like, I hope he's all right. But bam, bam, bam. He was throwing bows. And finally we got out of there. But that was the scariest thing, one of the scariest things I've ever had to endure. And I think that was the last time that I went back. I was like, no, they can't. Because they said like over 1 million people show up there in Vegas, just, in that particular area alone. I didn't know that at the time, but yeah, I don't want to do that no more.
Oh, by the way, Demetra, Winco is giving your favorite candy canes 39 cents.
I love candy canes, but you know what? I have not had one.
Sugar. Mm-hmm.
I have not had one this holiday season because I have backed away from sugar significantly. Now, I know one of those things probably got about 500 milligrams or grams rather of sugar. And I love me a good peppermint. Yes, I do. But I didn't have one. I didn't have a whole lot of stuff. I had some cake for my daughter's birthday. She made that. I had some ice cream. And I had some chocolate chip cookies. That was the most sugar I've had in months. And I felt terrible. Felt terrible that I did it. So yeah, you let me know how that candy cane worked out. Yeah, Miss Sweet Talk, it was a stampede. And Honeydew, how you doing? T-Paul, how are you doing this evening? Who else came on here? Okay, and so let's see here. Panther Striker says, Queen Demetra, I reflected on McMichael's constant demand to be released from prison after murdering our brother Ahmaud Arbery. It's like, no, you ain't gonna get out. Because I'm sure Ahmaud was like, hey man, I'm sorry, don't do it. Don't hurt me, whatever. And you and your homies thought it was a good idea to continue chasing him down, shooting him, and doing the most to that brother who was minding his business. Because he walked in your neighborhood and he walked through a vacant house, which people do that all the time. It wasn't vacant, it was a structure. It wasn't even a whole house. He was just in there looking, and they took it upon themselves and they almost got away with it until it went national. And so, yeah, I bet the prison is probably not, what he thought it was going to be, especially when he hears somebody like Derek Chauvin getting 22 times.
Right. And
I got that coming too.
Yeah, and think about it, the case of the district attorney who tried to cover it up. They're still trying to delay that court case. She should have been prosecuted by now.
Oh, yeah. Like, what's really going on, right? And Lene says, I meant the trans individuals getting banned. I am a Black trans. Okay, but Black first. I knew the trans woman who was banned. Very sad and funny at the same time. Okay, so you talk about something happened in the White House. Is that what it was? I vaguely remember that if you want to refresh my memory of what happened with that. Okay. So let's see. Panther Strike, you say sugar is addictive. He says I cut back to Queen D. Oh, yeah. Man. When I stopped eating sugar and I started really looking at everything that I eat to see what the sugar content is, I was like, my God, I was eating a lot of sugar. Like I didn't eat, we think if we're pouring or we're not pouring sugar into our drinks or whatever, then I'm doing good. But you have a can of soda, That's your sugar allotment, and then some for the day. Just one can, right? Was it 12 ounces? You have a cookie. That could be your allotment. Like for me, I try not to go over 24, 25 grams of sugar. That's, all right. But I try to stay under that. But I mean, if you're not cognizant of the sugar that you're eating, we're probably eating, 100 to 200 grams of sugar a day, just not even think about it. And if you have two sodas, then that's putting you close to 100 grams. So it's just not good for you. So I've stopped eating it, and I work out, but not as much as I used to. I used to work out like a mad woman. Now I lift some weights, stuff like that, and I go for a walk and I do Zumba, but not to the tune that I used to. But the not eating the sugar is really helping me significantly. Uh, let's see here. And Miss Sweets, you say, yes, I love sugar too much. Yeah, it's a drug. You really think about sugar, it is a drug. They said it is the equivalent of a cocaine habit. Being addicted to sugar. It says it has the same effect on the brain as cocaine. So think about that when you're eating sugar. Now I know for a lot of people saying I'm addicted to sugar, and that's a sugar addiction is a real thing. But I like Walter studying the effects of sugar and things like that, and it just makes sense not to ingest it as much as you can. I know it tastes good. They put sugar in everything: ketchup, tomato soup, and you name it. There's sugar in it, so you have to kind of watch that stuff as well because it adds up. Incredible brother, how you doing? You said to satisfy your sweet tooth, go for either stevia or monk fruit. Yeah, I do that. I like the monk fruit. Uh, you can taste a slight difference, but just to know that it is not um, giving you the effects of sugar from the sugar cane or high fructose corn syrup, that is satisfying. But I just try to eat other stuff that doesn't involve me having to want the sugar. But I get it. Troy, it says it's even sugar in things that don't taste sweet. Yep, there you go. Exactly. That it's like, why are you putting sugar in there? Do we need sugar in that? Brother Samuel, how are you doing? He says, greetings, D&D. Those that crave sugar holistically have an issue giving up or receiving love. Hmm. You said a word there. You have said a word. I'm thinking about something now. It makes sense. It truly does. Uh, teacher says that's the goal for me. No sugar or very little sugar in 2024 and beyond. Yeah, just look at what the suggestion for sugar is intake a day. And usually, like I said, it's about 24 to 25 grams of sugar. And try not to go over that. Now, it'll be hard because you're like, oh, I can't have that. Or if I do, I can't have sugar, for the rest of the day. But then it also makes you say, okay, well, maybe I only need a little bit, right? Because we're not, to keep it a buck, in America, we're not just having a serving of anything anymore, right? How many of us really pour a bowl of cereal and it's just a serving? Most of us that pour a bowl of cereal, it's 3 servings, and then you might go back for a second bowl depending on what it is. So, we just have to be really cognizant of our sugar intake. We'll be better people for it. Donovan, you say you invested in Nestle and Purina for the cats and dogs. Food element. Okay, money, big money. Incredible brother says maltodextrin. Maltodextrin. I probably said that wrong. It says a sugar killer. I have to check that out. Okay, so I'm gonna add y'all to the screen. Give me a second here. And Emmy says, when I stop drinking Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew, boy, you might as well just open up a bag of sugar and just, just scoop it in your mouth. Yeah, that Mountain Dew ain't. And then my daughter and I were at the store the other day, and we walked down the aisle where there's the sodas, and they have so many flavors of Mountain Dew is ridiculous. I'm like, damn, regular Mountain Dew wasn't good for you. Now you got this type of Mountain Dew, the electric Mountain Dew, and the out of sight Mountain Dew is like, I'm scared to drink any of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and if it isn't that, it's those power drinks that are making people that are addicted.
I don't drink those. I don't put those in my body at all. I don't touch them. And Brother Samuel says, thus we say to those we love, expressions like, hey, sugar, sweetie, or honey, etc. I like that. It makes a lot of sense. That clicked in my head. with that. Lion Pride, how you doing? Says Demetri K. I guess calling cocaine no sugar, no sugar is kind of true. If being addicted to sugar is kind of the same, yeah, they said it is. When they did an analysis on the brain, it has the same effect. Believe it or not. Uh, Panther, you say to all my Houston, Los Angeles, Oakland, Riverdale, Fayetteville, DC, Maryland, Virginia, and Atlanta family, take your power and yield it. All of our troubles will cease soon. Yes, indeed. Teacher says Mountain Dew. Sheesh. Yeah, it's. Ugh. Dave, how you doing? Says I heard the same for psychological today from psychological day, and you're replying to Brother Samuel. Lion Pride says Mountain Dew, high sugar and caffeine. Mind blowing. Yeah, mind blown. Pop, how you doing? Shalom to you as well. All right, so who came? Michael, how are you doing today?
Oh, hi. How you guys doing to Happy New Year?
We're doing fabulous. Same to you. What's on your mind?
Uh, yeah, what's on my mind is that, what's very notable for 2023 was when the brawl happened in Alabama. I don't remember the story exact. Don't remember what happened exact, but I kind of know what happened when black people got together and united to defend themselves from the white mobs, during a crisis. And I would say what's very important too is it's good to show that they're united during a crisis, but what are they united before a crisis about to exacerbate?
That's the problem, though, Michael, with our people. We come and scream and holler after the decision has been made. And I mean, I've seen it time and time again at city council meetings. I've seen it when it comes to national policy. People are like, they don't know what's in it, but yet we'll wait till a roly poly Martin will say, oh, the Asian crime bill is for black people too. And then you read the bill, ain't nothing in there for us. It is specifically for people of Asian descent, which is, I'm not mad at them. It's just the idea. It's just very frustrating that we are reactionary and we're not pro uh, reaction. We
Right.
need it after the fact.
Well, can I tell you personally? I'll tell you this. I usually don't say this, but because I hang along with a lot of the Asian communities. I'll tell you from my experience, and even like dining out. Every time I go to Asian restaurants and I see the staff who work there, so I noticed that they either hire Hispanics to work at Asian establishments or their own people. But if you go to American restaurants, I've noticed a difference. American restaurants tend to be slightly more diverse. They hire people regardless of their ethnicity and race. And I said to myself, that's interesting. I thought the Asian Hispanic establishments they're not supposed to discriminate against people who are not Hispanics, not Asians. And then I found out that a lot of these Hispanics and Asian business owners, ve- very rarely that they can speak English, and it's like they're using the anti-discrimination law to their advantage. And I said to myself, "But America's supposed to be a melting pot." And then I think about it at the same time, it's diverse but segregated. I know it's segregated and diverse in California, Massachusetts, New York, but where I'm from, I hardly see it, or if I don't know about it, it's probably like hidden somewhere.
Absolutely. So, Michael, before I let you go, do you have any New Year's resolution?
Yeah, I do have. Yes, I do have a New Year's resolution, and I just posted a reparations link in the chat for you, Dimitri, to sign because your friend Donovan signed the reparations petition to get cash payment reparations for ADOS, you know, implemented immediately.
Okay. Well, that's your New Year resolution to get reparations for ADOS implemented.
Yes, to get it implemented, I'm thinking about writing a story to send to Congress how to get Congress and the White House to pass, cash payment reparations to ADOS immediately. I'm just thinking like what characters to use. You know what I mean? Like someone who was famous in the civil rights, era. So that way, like Joe Biden can say, oh, I met this famous black civil rights activist. Yeah, maybe I'll give checks to the entire family. So I'm just trying to figure out like, a narrative. But of course, the goal is to get you guys, cash payment reparations for ADOS before the presidential election in 2024. But I know it's going to be a long overhaul, but it's worth it.
Well, we definitely appreciate you for being an ally to the Black community, especially in regards to reparations. And I think that's an awesome resolution to have. And so it has been a great year with you coming up here commenting and giving us a lot of insight into how you see Black America, and also giving us some insight into and from your own community, the Asian community. So I'm going to drop you back down into the comment section, but come and see us next year. See you next year.
Yeah, I will. See you guys next year. And I also have issues with my people, and they're not reciprocating, very well. Trust me, it takes a lot of Steven Seagal to get their blood pressure up. I mean, I don't care if the Asians have to, suffer.
Well, we're going to let you handle that with your people.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Black America.
Good evening, hello, and happy New Year. That's all I came up to say, but then Michael freaking triggered me, so now I'm having a conniption fit while I'm driving.
Be careful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just came up to say happy New Year to you guys. You guys have a safe and blessed New Year.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Black America. That means a lot from you, especially since you don't always have kind things to say to me. Donovan, of course.
Oh, I don't have anything kind to say to you. I'm just saying, you can be nice.
Right.
I'm always cordial.
Yeah. So hey,
don't be acting like I'm Miss D. Don't act like I'm that mean, dude. Come on now. I am not that. I'm not mean at all. I don't have a mean bone in my body.
You think you're mean, and I just let you think you're mean, but
Yeah, I had a whole lot of smoke for the comment section too, but I'm just, you know what, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. I'm letting it all go. Since it's New Year's. But Panther Strikes and Miss Sweet Talks, I see y'all. See what y'all saying in that comment section. Don't.
Let me ask you this: do you have a New Year's resolution?
Yeah, I don't. I'm working right now. I don't believe in anything like that. Like I've been working since I was 15, so I don't believe in any kind of New Year's resolution, birthdays, and I don't believe in any of those things.
I got you. A lot of people don't. It is what it is. You just keep on trucking, no pun intended, all year long, right?
Keep on trucking, baby. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that's all. It's and none of those things. I was listening to your list of the things, like absolutely not one of those things mattered to me because like we're 50 years old, in our 50s, and every year you look back, it's always something going on, like whether it's somebody passing away or it's a tragedy. And I'm gonna tell you what triggered me with Michael. He just said that man that was being attacked with the boat brawl thing, he used the word, I can't recall it, but he acted like it was a mob of people just jumping. It was only like 4 or 5 people jumping that one man. Like in a regular neighborhood, that's a normal occurrence. Like it's not like, oh, a mob. He said a mob of people. It wasn't a mob of people. It was a couple of guys jumping on one guy. That, for a black guy and 3 or 4 white guys, that's damn near a fair fight to me.
See, we were doing good until you said that.
Miss D, that's not, that looked like a big brother on there, and he working with boats and stuff. He's strong as hell. He's strong. You can't deny that. That's a fair fight. One black man, 3 or 4 white dudes, and some of them old and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like that's damn near a fair fight to me. I don't understand that.
You know what? I'm not even going to refute that with you. I'm going to let you have your opinion as it is the new year. But I will say this about you, Black America. We've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a lot of disagreements, and some very rare agreements. But I will say, as annoying as sometimes you can be to not only me, but the other people in the comment section, I got to give it to you because you come up here and defend your stance no matter how wrong it is. And a lot of times it's wrong, but you come up here, you stand 10 toes down on it, and that's got to count for something, right? A box of rocks, a stale peanut, or something. I don't know. So I'm saying kudos to you. I look forward in 2024 for having more spirited, but more intellectual conversations with you.
I really don't even know how. Now I feel like you just kicked me in the back. I really don't even know how to respond to that. That was all bull fraggle. Everything you said, because I have never came up here and espoused any view that wasn't right. You may think it's wrong. It's kind of like the black community. You think we can actually have a black community at a 30% marriage rate? There will be never any group economics as long as our women in our community think that they're on the same playing field as a man. It's hurtful to everybody. I like you guys, and I like watching you, and it's very entertaining, and it takes up a lot of my time and lets me use my mind muscle while I'm driving. But as far as a black community, we haven't had a black community since Ronald Reagan came in. After Ronald Reagan came in, he screwed us up big time with the drugs and the neighborhoods and everything. So, if you want to push for a black community, and I see people saying B1 in the comments and all of that, we'll never get back to that point, unfortunately, because I liked growing up as a kid in a mostly black neighborhood. It was one white boy on my block and like one Mexican. Now we're all blocks are a melting pot. Donovan just said they gonna be doing churros in his neighborhood tonight. Churros and going kiki. Like
you best believe he gonna go get him one or two of them.
Hey, the best things are those fresh made chips with that guacamole dip. I love living around Mexicans.
Elote corn. That's the best thing right there when they put that stuff on the corn.
Right. So see, we all agree with that stuff, and like here in Vegas. Well, I'm on my way to Vegas. Yes, we have a few black-owned businesses in black sides of town and in white parts of town and things like that, but for it to be a cohesive unit of old time, I remember black corner stores. We don't have those anymore. For one, the patronage of it would be low, and people stealing and things of that nature. And then the people that give out the permits, they're not giving it just like he was talking about the home loans and stuff like that. People aren't giving black people without significant money those things, and it's harmful and it's hurtful.
I feel you, brother. But I'm gonna keep. Well, they already started with the fireworks. Lord have mercy. But I'm gonna keep hope alive, and that we will be able to build a conducive black community. I hope that we are able to do that in my lifetime. Of course, I'll be here for another 100 years, so I think it's possible. But anyway, Jesus. I know that you are heading to Vegas, and I don't know why you're going to Vegas so late. Because it's gonna be a line all there on the 15 trying to get into Vegas.
No, it's not. For Christmas it was, but right now it's not. I work 15 hours every day, Miss D. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. I started, 3 to 5 in the morning, and I finish when the day is done. So yeah, this is an everyday thing for me.
Well, you do be safe out there, Black America. We love and appreciate you for coming up here and speaking your opinion. I look forward, as I said, to 2024. And what else you'll have to say?
Nothing. Peace to everybody. Everyone, please have a safe new year. I don't care if it's happy or not, because we all not gonna be happy. but have a safe New Year. I'm a truck driver, and many truck drivers are out here. Please do not drink and drive. You know, I don't care if you go off a cliff, but if you hit somebody else, I would be pretty upset with you. So please, no drinking and driving. Get an Uber, leave your car at home, and or walk or whatever. Catch a city bus. They're free in Vegas. I don't know if they're free where you guys are. The city buses are free in Vegas, starting at 6 o'clock. Please have a safe night, and don't do nothing I wouldn't do. All right, I'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, see you next year.
All right, bye.
Bye. He says, "Don't do nothing he wouldn't do," and that could be any damn day, you know. Donovan and his cat, brother Easy E. How you doing? And happy New Year's Eve to you. And thank you so much for the donation. I love and appreciate you for that. And I appreciate everybody who has donated something this year. It has helped this channel tremendously, as it does incur a cost to have this channel. So I thank you all very much for everything that you guys do to keep this show up and running. Y'all want me to share the link again so y'all can come on and tell us about a New Year's resolution that you have, Donovan? What's your New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution, let's see. I don't really get into all that other than maybe, you know, things will turn around, especially in my stocks and stuff, and Joe Biden loses, the Democrats lose, because I think really what we need is to wake up. If Trump scares Black people so bad, like he did last time, I think this is what we need to get us back on the right track. And my New Year's resolution is, you know, let Trump come into office, and or any Republican, by the way, any Republican, because like I said, I like Chris Christie, but any Republican
really?
come in, yeah.
Why?
You know, I like Chris Christie because he's a New Jersey, and he's a straight shooter. He says it the way he feels it, you know, and I like that. And then he was a former prosecutor, so he understands the law. So I like that, but I think that the Democrats need to lose so that Black people will again wake up and do for self.
You do know that when, and I don't know, maybe you do know, I don't know, that when Chris Christie was the governor there of New Jersey, he, along with a whole bunch of other people, Obama included, put a $2 million bounty on that of Saadiq Shakur. Of course, y'all know Saadiq Shakur has sought political asylum there in Cuba after being falsely accused and imprisoned for a murder that she did not do, along with two other people from the Black Liberation Army. And of course, y'all know she escaped prison and all of that. But yeah, they have as a total of $3 million bounty on her, and they have her as at the top of the most wanted FBI list, even though there's a lot of evidence that say that she and Sunday Akoli and what's the other brother's name? Is it Malik? That they did not do that, but yet they put all this money out there and call her an enemy, one of the number one enemy, and she's well into her 70s now. But again, there's been a lot of evidence to debunk that she or her partners had anything to do with the murder of that officer there. So Chris Christie just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh yeah. But dealing with the nominees that we have, he would be a person that if the Republicans have to take over out of all the nominees that are up there, to me, if you're voting Republican, Christie to me would be a selection I would vote for.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's your choice, you know. But yeah, he's running. I don't know how much of a chance Chris Christie actually has. You know, it's funny because you got all these Republicans that are now running they love Trump. They was on the choo-choo Trump train, and now they all speaking against him. Of course, y'all saw former governor of South Carolina, Nimrata. That's her name, Nimrata. Nikki Haley got up there in New Hampshire, and they asked her, one of the reporters, well, what was the Civil War about? And she says, well, it was about how the government should be ran, and she did all this running around. And then he says, so it's mighty funny to me that you not once mentioned slavery. You didn't mention slavery. And she goes, well, Well, at first she says, well, what do you think the Civil War was about? He says, I'm not running for president. You are. I'm asking you. And she did some more, roboting around the question. And then he says, I find it mighty funny that she didn't mention slavery not one time. And she says, well, what do you want me to say? But of course, she's gone on this campaign to say, well, I know what it was about. I was, stop, girl, stop. Okay.
See, and that's the thing. Like her and Vivi Vaswamy and all these other groups, they try so hard to identify with the white man, and that's how they do. They step on us like, oh, we weren't slaves, so I can't identify with that. Everybody knows, even if you are a bigot or whatever, you're from the South and you believe in the Southern cause. The main cause of the Civil War was the extension of slavery. That was the whole catalyst of it. You had the Compromise of 1850 and all these different compromises that had happened, and it got to a point where they were like, no more. And that's what kicked it off. And then for her to be a former governor, where the first shots of the Civil War came out of Charleston and Sumter, South Carolina. It was just crazy. I was like, how could she? But that's what these groups do. They come here and especially Indians. I know some of you guys are like, oh, you guys are trying to be racist. No, Indians come from a class system. You don't think Kamala Harris believes in a caste system? She believes in a caste system. That's how their society is staged. Period. The lot that you're born in is the lot you stay in. Period. So
yeah, so you got people like Nikki Haley and, like I said, Chris Christie and all of them. They were on the Trump train, and now they're trying to distance themselves. And Nikki Haley, in some places, not many, she's closing the gap. She has not caught that of Trump. Of course, Trump has ran circles around all of them, but she's bragging about how she's closing and she's, within striking distance of Trump in some polls. In some places, I think it's
20 points. You're within striking distance. Yeah.
Right. In like 2 places, like, girl, stop. You're not going to be the next nominee for the presidential, candidate or whatever the case is. But a lot of them, see, I don't have any respect for people who they talk one way and then they start to walk another one when, the chips start to fall. It's like, no, stand 10 toes down on it. Y'all was on the Trump train and now y'all running against him. Now, he's the worst guy in the world. But even up until the insurrection, a lot of them wouldn't denounce him. They turned a blind eye, like, well, shoot, I don't see nothing. I don't know why. You got to ask somebody. Well, no, but now all of a sudden they're giving this full-throated, Trump he's a horrible person. He's bad for the country. And it's like, listen, Trump is at the top of the ticket. And a lot of these states try to find a way to disqualify. And we know that Maine has, but Colorado somehow had to put him back on the ballot because his people appealed, which they're all going to have to put him back on the ballot, unless they find a way he goes to jail, which would be very odd if he does. Trump is going to be the nominee against that of Joe Biden. But again, if they don't want Trump to win, the Democrats could very easily put up another candidate, but they won't do that now, will they?
Well, you also got to remember, on the debate stage, they asked those that raised their hand, if Trump is the nominee, would they support him? The only person that did not raise their hand was Chris Christie.
But he raised his hand plenty other times. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, no, I know, I get it. But what I'm saying is, for Black people to survive and for us to wake the F up, we need a Republican in there. We need a Republican in there to do what we need to do. If Trump is your boogeyman and he's scared the crap out of you to open up your businesses and do for yourself, the next Republican is going to do the same thing. If we have 4 more years of a Democratic controlled federal government, Black people, we're already a permanent underclass. I know you guys want to tell yourselves, oh, no, we're doing great. Black people are this. We're the most educated. We're this. We're that. We're this. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Black people are now a permanent underclass, period. End of story. You can say what you want to say. 70% of Black people, like I've been saying for over 3 years, are below the poverty line, at the poverty line, or just above it. Only 30% of the Black population is doing what you would consider okay. And even that 30% is suffering under this Democratic policies that's happening right now. So if we get another 4 years of Biden and all this other and these Democrats, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for the country. It's a wrap.
Tina, how you doing? You says it was, but I don't believe we as current citizens should pay for historical past mistakes. White people were not, you say worse, you were slave also, but not really recognized even today. Let me get this, Donovan. Okay. So you're also saying is, you saying we should not pay is what I meant. Well, and I'm assuming you're a white woman. And how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Y'all might not have been there during slavery, but y'all benefit from your the horrors that your ancestors exacted upon our ancestors. Y'all still benefiting from today. Y'all have wealth that has been passed down to y'all from the horrors of slavery. So yeah, you weren't there, but maybe not you, but there's a lot of white people who got generational wealth that is hooked to chattel slavery. So even that you were not there, there is a debt that has never been paid to Black Americans, our ancestors, or anybody in between. There's never, ever, ever been a debt paid. We don't want a funky apology. Take your apology and shove it. We want money, we want land, and a whole host of other things that we as Black Americans and our ancestors never got. See, that's what y'all hang on to. Oh, well, we weren't there. But y'all still, and I did a video on the African Diaspora News Channel. It's not up yet. It'll be up later on this week, of a white woman from the civil rights movement. She's in her 80s. She says, if I'm still here, those people who fought against us are still here. And she's 100% right. Those ideologies that they had on the plantation with our ancestors, and I don't need to go on all the stuff they did to our ancestors. Those things were passed down. We are still in 2023 where we can hear of a story of somebody being lynched by their neck. We just talked about Ahmaud Arbery, whose life was taken from him, ran down by 3 white supremacists because they felt like they had the right to do that. But let me ask you this, Tina, where you think they got that from? They weren't presently there in slavery, but they got those teachings from their people who just taught it down, passed it down, passed it down, passed it down. And with those ideologies, those racist ideologies, they also passed down a lot of money. So when you say you weren't there, why should you have to pay for something? Then that's your attitude. If not you and other people that look like you, tell them to run the money back then. Hey, you know what? We didn't get this money out the mud. We didn't get it. Honestly, let's return all of this wealth because our ancestors were too damn lazy to do the work themselves, where they kidnapped and or enslaved Black people to do the work and build those big giant houses and plantations and all those other things. And so I think you should be very careful of thinking that Black people are not owed a debt because you weren't there, but your great-great-granddaddy was there. Your great-great-granddaddy was probably hopping in and out of those slave plantation shacks, hopping on my great-great-great-grandmama and all of them. So you weren't there, but your people were there. I think that counts.
Well said. Well said. Again, and you always hear this benign neglect of responsibility, but let they get owed something. Oh, we got to pay the Jews this. We got to pay the Jews that. Oh, we have to help these people. But yet, the people that built this very country, you won't pay. But again, to me, you said it's simplified. Anytime anytime a person of another culture says that BS, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, Tina, but what you said was basically it's not right. It's bull crap. Only you and your group would believe that. All you got to say is you yourself are still benefiting from slavery and the money that's been passed down wealthily. You guys had over 300, 400 years of free labor, and we haven't been paid yet. But yet, all these other groups can get the money, and now you guys have opened up the border to let people get all kinds of resources, all kinds of stuff. When are we going to get our money? Cut the damn check. And if you are so adamant about your stance that you weren't there, give up your wealth and then get it out the mud like we have to do it. Then I would believe what you're saying is actually true.
Yeah, and Facts Not Feelings, you're right. It says this is not about white people. I think it is, but I think I like your other point. This is about the U.S. government engaging in slave labor for free.
But Facts Not Feeling, who controls the United States government? White people. At the top of it, it's white people. Come on.
Right. So yeah, it's about both. In the United States government, they were complicit. And the Civil War wasn't that Abraham Lincoln. They tell that lie. They teach it to the children. But I never was taught that from my family. I already knew Abraham Lincoln wasn't shit. But they teach that in school. Oh, he was honest Abe. He was freed the slaves. No, he was like, if it means me keeping the slaves in slavery to keep the Union together, that's what I'm going to do. He didn't give a damn about black people. He just wanted to make sure that the Union stayed together. Because y'all got to remember, I know he wasn't there, but back then, the South was trying to secede from the rest of the nation, basically saying, screw y'all. We're going to keep slavery. Y'all do what y'all want to do. We're not part of the United States anymore. So Abraham Lincoln was like, listen, we need to keep the Union together. So that's what we are going to do. Right. All right. So let's see here.
And then wait. I want to add to that. And then let's not forget, what was the solution of the black problem after the Civil War? Ship them to Liberia. That was the answer. Well, they can't stay here. We got to ship them to Liberia. Thus, Liberia is an American U.S. colony. That was the answer. They did not want blacks here. That was, if Abraham Lincoln had lived, that was the goal, to ship black people out.
Tina, you say you black. I mean, you very well may be. There's a lot of black people who think like you. But I want to go back to your last comment. You said, I want to make sure. Okay, so you may be black. I don't know. But what I say stands. I'm not going to change my mind whether he was purple. I'm still going to stand on what I said. Yeah, Mike Nice. You say free labor. What's free in America? Right. And let me go back to this as well. I don't know if Rhonda, thank you so much. I don't know if you're still on here, but thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. You stay safe as well, and happy new year to you. Okay, so let me skip down a little bit so I could catch up. Yeah, easy. Accepting an apology equals no reparation. And did we, like Congress, did the Negroes in Congress, they accepted that apology? I never accepted no apology. I'm like, shove your apology. We don't want that, And Asha, you say, folks say that they shouldn't pay because they weren't there. Well, your ancestors should have not kept pushing us to the side and paid back then. Yeah, it'd probably been a lot cheaper, right? Without the interest. If you just paid, because originally they were going to pay. That was the orders, right? From General Sherman to Tecumseh. Whatever, we're going to pay. But then, of course, that got turned around. It was Andrew Johnson, the president.
A Democrat.
Andrew Jackson. Yeah.
No. It was Andrew Johnson.
Was it Andrew Johnson? Okay, so
yeah, a Democrat.
One of them, changed it around. And they actually gave reparations to the plantation owners. So, all right. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, everybody. And Arniba says, we are owed a minimum of 40 million acres of land and 4 million tractors at a minimum, right?
Minimum estimate by a lot of economic experts and stuff, black people as a minimum. Right now, in today's money, $17 trillion is owed at a minimum. $10 trillion we just threw away in Afghanistan and Iraq in the last 20 years. 10 million. That could have been reparations right there. But as a minimum, black people are owed $17 trillion. And just because you have black skin doesn't mean you're FBA. You're not a descendant of the slaves. So half of the people that identify as black in this country will not get those reparations. So you're talking about minimum, if you are FBA, minimum monthly, $325 million monthly is owed to you based on our numbers.
Dave, if I could see your face, please. I see your picture, but can I see your face really quick? I know you've been on here quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever seen you come up here. I'm not gonna show your face to everybody else. Okay, got you. You can blank it out if you want before I bring you up. Got you. So I'm gonna add you to the stage. So just one moment. Ooh, that is a very creepy picture. I like your face better. Okay, but all right. So let me get to some of these comments really quick. All right. Hey, Buckhorse, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great day and happy new year to you as well. All right. Yeah, easy got everything to do with white folks. Let's see here. Dano says, I really hurt for my people. Me too. Tina, you says, why would I have to get paid for something I didn't suffer through then? I have suffered from current people on both races. Well, when we do get it reparations, just don't collect the checks, sis.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't collect the check, leave it there and say, hey, give it to everybody else who want it. Because nobody's going to make you take the check now, because if you don't take it, that's more for us. So, I don't know what to tell you. Gerard, how are you doing? Since the Republicans are running against Trump because they think he will lose the Biden again. Many independents and moderates won't vote for Trump because of January 6th. And how immature is he? Well, they said if the election was held today, that Trump would win big time against that of Biden. So, I think I don't know. It's the Democrats definitely don't want him to run. All right, so let's see here. Roz, how you doing? He says white supremacy is still capitalizing from free black labor through the prison industrial complex. Slavery never ended for black people. No, it has not. Tina, he says, I know that, but also there were states that didn't allow slavery and also fought for our freedom as black people. So they owe us too. Yeah, but there's a lot of states that didn't have slavery per se, like California, but they participated in the slave trade. They had the it always slips my mind. The
Dred Scott decision.
No, not that one. It's the other one. No, it's on mine, but basically says that they have to return slaves back, runaway slaves.
Right. The fugitive slave law.
There you go. They participated in that as well. And when people from the southern states, slave owners moved to California and they had the slaves, they didn't say in California, well, you can't do that here. They allowed it to happen. So, there's a lot of states who were not slave states, but they turned a blind eye to it as well.
Yeah. And you got to think about it. If black people are viewed as property, there's nothing stopping me from going to a free state, supposedly free state, with my property. And that's how black people were viewed back then. That's why when people use that argument, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's like they don't really know the whole pretense of it. We weren't even viewed as human beings. We were viewed as property. So when you have states like California and, the Western states and Washington and, let's say the Western states that pretty much were free states, there was nothing stopping them from bringing slaves into the state. Texas was a free state as well. There was nothing stopping bringing slave in there because we were viewed as property, period. So that's what people don't tell you. So slavery was allowed in free states.
And how you doing, Vegetari? I hope everything is well with you. Long time no see. And Tony, how you doing? Glad to see Black excellence all day, every day. So, Brother Dave, what's on your mind?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I hope y'all have a happy New Year.
We shall. We hope you do the same.
Yeah. So, an event that I think was notable was that the stance that Kyrie Irving took during that fiasco that was going on with the Jews and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. It might not be such a big deal, but I like to see that because I'm just getting tired of seeing, brothers and sisters just, bowing and scraping and like, especially when you got that much influence and money. Only thing that seemed to be missing is the power. So he seemed like he won it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that took a lot of bravery and for him to do that. It cost him a lot, a Nike shoe contract and all of that. But, of course, he did what he had to do to kind of get back into the good graces. But it doesn't sound like he's really, changed his opinion very much. Somebody told me, he said not too long ago, that if he died, one of the things that he wanted Black people to do is to follow Farrakhan. So if indeed he said that, that's pretty amazing. Most definitely. So do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yes. I'd like to, well, I am going to become more law savvy and knowing my rights, or the rights that Americans have, and I'm going to exercise them.
Absolutely. Well, we love and appreciate you for coming up here. I think it's your first time up here as well. So come back and see us next year.
Sure.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Panther Strike, how are you doing this fine evening? I muted
He's
you,
muted.
so
He's muted. Mhm.
yeah. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
We can hear you now. How you doing? You there? Hello, hello, hello. Going once, going twice, going thrice. Yeah, okay, I see. It says that he doesn't have a connection. So when his connection gets back, Panther, if your connection comes back on, come and see us, because yeah, it kicked you off. It wasn't me, it kicked you off. Sometimes we don't have a strong connection, it doesn't let you come through all the way. So that's just a system thing. Okay, so let's see here. And Tina, you can come on here if you like. On YouTube, that's where the link is. I didn't put it on Facebook. Donovan, if you can, you don't have to. If you want to put the link in Facebook, so that Tina can come up here and speak her piece if she like. Easy, you say. D, explain to these no reparation advocates that slaves got reparations from U.S. government, and government was 2,000% complicit in slave labor. So no slave got any reparations. Actually, the slave master. I think that's maybe what you were saying. They got reparations for losing their property. Black people, slaves. Yeah, the government was complicit. Hell, they still complicit. Every time they deny reparations to Black people in America, they're complicit. They know, right? They have all these studies. We're gonna have this study. We're gonna look into it. We hear all these studies. Like Donovan said, they're in California. They're now giving the health care to all undocumented immigrants, and it's going to cost, they say, about $2.6 billion a year to implement that every year. Now, the Medi-Cal system, because that's the system in California, that you can have a whole lot of stuff done, surgeries, free medicine, a whole lot of stuff. And so they have extended that. But keep in mind, they're in California, they were supposed to be coming up with a decision about reparations in June 30th is when they're supposed to come up with a decision. They ain't said nothing else about it. And I looked today, because I actually covered the story. I looked and I haven't seen any movement about reparations in California at all. But all of a sudden, Gavin Newsom there came up with, well, we're going to take care of all. Now, it's not new. They have taken care of undocumented immigrants, the children and stuff like that. Governor Jerry Brown also implemented some form of a system to take care of some immigrants. But Gavin Newsom was like, well, we're going to cover them all. And like I said, keep in mind, they're in California. They haven't said anything about the reparations that they said they were going to, they studied and it came up with a conclusion. Now, of course, Gavin Newsom at first said, well, I didn't say it was necessarily cash reparations, but he got a lot of backlash. He says, but I didn't say it was off the table either. So he's doing a lot of waffling back and forth. But we also need to keep in mind that there in California, Black people are less than 6% of the population. Hispanics are probably reaching about 50, give or take, there in California. So they're the majority. So that's what they're going to appease. Black people are like, we're not going to do nothing for y'all, because for one, we know y'all going to show up to vote for us every time. All we got to do is yell a Republican out, his name out, and then y'all going to get up and vote blue no matter who, no matter what we do or do not do for you. And so, yeah, the government is complicit. They keep giving us studies, but that's it.
So you got to remember, it also deals with time. When Biden said that he was going to forget the student debt, right? He didn't have to let Congress debate it. He has the executive pen. He has universal power to wipe away debt. But he gave it to the Congress because it's going to take time. And then by the time everything is out, it's the next election. Then he puts it in your face. And then guess what? He's out of office. I said this on the last show. I'm going to say this again. You would be a damn fool to reelect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris into office, because when they run for a second term and win, they don't have to do nothing, because they can't run for office again. It's a waste of time. If they don't give it to you in the first term, like the Asians got their stuff, the LGBT got their stuff, the Hispanics got their stuff, it ain't going to happen. Especially for Black people. We have to get it in the first term. If you don't get it in the first term, you're definitely not going to get it in the second term. It's all about time. And then guess what? By the time you realize that they've hoodwinked you, you're an old person, and you won't even care at that point. You're old and bitter and mad.
Wilbur, what's going on with brother Grandmaster Jay? I haven't heard anything about it since he was sentenced to prison. But they give him like, was it 7 years? How many years was it? But what's going on with that? If you don't mind me asking, Black America wants to come back. Give me a second, Black America. Antoinette, how are you doing this fine evening? I hope all is well. Be easy, that dude. Where have you been? How are you doing? It says, in order for them to surpass us, they need an economic floor. Government created a buffer group. Absolutely. Conscious Ether, how you doing? And let's see here. Let me skip down a little bit. Oh yeah, I'd be easy. Joe Biden is one of the most anti-black presidents in modern time, but you can't tell that to some black people. No, he not. You know, yeah, like you said too, Zelensky got reparations and he's still getting them. They gave him a nice big check before they tipped out for the rest of the year. You know, he came over here, was like, listen, I know y'all got a lot of stuff going on, but we gonna need some more money. And they gave it to him. So absolutely. Yeah, Turner, how you doing? It says no tangibles, no vote. Yes, indeed. And Conscious, you say, I think it's safe to say that the Democrats are not going to do anything for Black Americans. Nope. And that's why we ain't gonna do nothing for them either. And again, Tina, if you want to come on, you can click the link. It's on YouTube out here. I'll put it again. We're gonna be here for about another 15 minutes. You can click the link and come on and share your opinion with us. I did drop the link, Buckhorse, so it's there. So Black America, you here you are. Well, it ain't next year, but how you doing?
Okay, I just good day again. I just had a quick request. Can I make a request like this is the radio? We used to do that a long time ago. I would like you guys to do a show because Donovan just pissed me off. I would like you guys to do a show, if you would please, because he just said that 70% of did you say Black Americans are underneath the poverty level, Donovan?
No, I didn't say 70%. I said 70% of Black people are beneath, at, or just above the poverty level.
Okay, so I would like you guys to do a show and maybe do a little, studying, like a little from blackdemographics.com or something like that, to actually show that level and like the prison, because you guys mentioned prison a lot. Like, it's not a lot of Black people in prison. I don't know where, a lot of people think that it's a lot of brothers locked up. It's not a lot of Black people locked up as far as how many Black people it is versus, the Black people that are locked up. So I would like you guys, if you could, to just do a little research on that and do a show on that. Could you think you guys could probably do that?
Yeah, I mean, I already know, but yeah, I know anytime we get into conversations about percentages and all that other stuff, it gets kind of heated. But I just did a really quick Google search and it says, this is the U.S. poverty rate in America based by race. It says in 2022, 17.1% of Black people living in the United States were living below the poverty line compared to that of 8.6% of white people. Yeah, I felt like 70% is rather high. Because
but there's 3 levels. So you guys are only hearing what you want to hear below. There's 3 levels.
Originally, you did say that. You didn't say the levels. You did say 70%.
I said 70% of Black people live below, at, or just above the poverty line. That's where we're at as a people. That's what I said.
Okay, so repeat that. 70% of Black people live
below, at, or just above.
Right. So even with, because Black America's making an issue of it, even with what you just said, that's not true. So that's just not. But I get what you said.
Disagree with you, because if it wasn't true, 50% of Black people across the nation would not be homeless. 70% wouldn't be homeless here in the United States. And the Black wealth wouldn't be what it is. So again, it depends on what you're using and what your idea of reality is. So,
yeah, but even still, 50% of Black people are not homeless.
70% of Black people in general, in my opinion, and from my research, are at that level. How many of us are millionaires? It is what it is.
But it's
only 30% of us are doing well. Only 30% of us. I'm sorry.
That's not true. That's just not true. And I'm gonna say this.
We can argue about it all you want, but I'm telling you.
I know, but Donovan, just because you say it, that does not mean it's not true.
And just because you guys say it doesn't make it.
Wait a minute now. Wait. Come on.
Go ahead.
Come on. I get it. We can have our opinions, but our opinions sometimes differ from facts. That's all I'm saying.
Because
It's not
again,
true that 70% of Black people
no,
are
because
just below
again,
the poverty
that
line.
would be like saying the census saying that Black people are 13% of the population. When we know that would be impossible based on birth rates and things of that nature. So, like I said, it's funny how we can take this thing from the government and say this is accurate, and then we can say this one is not. And I'm not saying that.
Let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
How many have you polled all of the Black people in America to see if
No, I haven't.
that number? Then how do you know the government's numbers are not true?
Because my perception is what I see going on out here in the United States.
But again, you have not talked to all Black people.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I just see the poverty that's going on. I look on the web and I see black women and Black men doing this, doing that, scamming and whatever else we're doing. You wouldn't do that if you were making it.
But the internet ain't really indicative.
Yes, it is, because Abraham Lincoln said it's real. Yes, it is.
This is why doves cry. I know it.
Donovan, you okay?
Wait, hold on, Black America, hold on.
Okay.
Don't tell how you doing. You say Black women don't listen; they interpret. First of all, I didn't interpret that. That was Black America, who is a Black man. So I want to just go on there and to see that how you just come up on here just making up stuff because you just don't like Black women. One thing you can do is if you don't like Black women, that's cool, that's your business, but don't lie on Black women. I didn't say that. I was just piggybacking off of what he said, trying to gauge some understanding. Now there. Go ahead, Black America.
All right. So Donovan, I would just implore you, man, to just do, it's a lot of Black homelessness. It's a lot of white homelessness also. Like I say, being a truck driver, I've been all over the country, and I've never seen a Black homeless person in Utah, but I've seen plenty of white homeless people in Utah. So it just depends. It really depends on where you're at, the demographic you're going to see. And so I would just, if you can, use some Black demographics, because if, for instance, 54% of Black men are in the middle class, how could almost 70% of Black people, and I understand women versus men and things of that nature. I just would like probably you to look at Black demographics or some stats on it so you can see a little bit of everything, that and the prison stuff, so that when you guys are talking to people, that they can find out from the total population, it's less than 2 million people in jail altogether, and they're not all Black. So, for the whole thing. So, when you guys are talking, people can have a little bit of information on that.
And you know what though, Black America, I totally understand you, because I'm one of those people. I like to bring information. I don't like to just go. Regardless, and I'm gonna get to this comment, Barnabas. Regardless of what y'all say, I'm not one of these people on the internet that just say what I feel or I'm my opinion. I try my best to bring y'all the knowledge as I know it and as I've researched, because I know how it is when people get on this World Wide Web and espouse things that are not true. And unfortunately, now I'm going to have to say this, and I'm not saying it to anybody in particular. There's a lot of people using this internet that don't have the sense God gave a cricket to even go verify if any of this stuff is true, which is why me personally, I don't follow a lot of people on social media, because I hear what they say and I'm like, nah, that ain't true. But unfortunately, they feeding this nonsense to their base or the people who follow them, because they don't have the sense to go research it for yourself. Those of y'all that follow the Bible, it says study to show yourself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth. It's also saying, don't go listening to the pastor. How you know he telling the truth? Just like a lot of these people on the internet, how you know they telling the truth? Because it sounds good. That's propaganda. That's what rhetoric is about. It sounds good, right? It sounds believable. If you put a little bit of good intonation and stuff behind what you're saying, it sounds good. But Barnabas, how you doing? I've never seen you on here before. You guys, let me get to these comments. But of course, you're not connecting. So you say she's not comprehending what the guy is saying. Jesus, right? She's using ignorance to try to prove him wrong. Many Blacks would be homeless if it wasn't for someone looking out for them in their down moments. Brother, if you don't get some information behind what you're saying, how if Black people are doing wrong, where we gonna put them? If 70% of the black people in America are doing wrong, then how are they helping out all the other black people out? You don't even make any sense. But again, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can click the link and come up here and debunk anything that I'm saying. But on my show, we're going to deal with some facts. We're not going to just talk about opinions. Like I said, most of the stuff you could Google. I know Google ain't always right, but we got to make sure that we are saying things that line up. As they say in the nation, you know, it's about mathematics. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. But one thing I'm not going to ever do is get on here and purposely mislead people because I am trying to be right. I don't have a need to be right. I don't get off of here at night and store something in my piggy bank because I'm right. I want to be right and try to give the most best information possible. But as I said, Mr. Williams, you are more than likely to click the link and come up here, but don't be no thumb thug in the comment section talking about something you have no knowledge of. Click the link, brother. Let's see if Buckhorse, if you could come up here. Buckhorse. You there? Hello. Going once and going twice.
Hi, Miss K.
Hello.
How you doing? What's up, Dono? Happy New Year's to y'all.
And Happy New Year to you as well. What's on your mind, dear brother?
Miss,
I think you're having a severe connection issue, brother. When you are able to connect, please come back and see us. But yeah, you're going in and out, so I'm gonna have to remove you. And I'm gonna bring Michael up here. Miss Shantae, how you doing? So that's crazy. Why do we do the census when hospitals tell how many people are living in the U.S.? Can I let y'all in on something? I couldn't tell y'all, boy. This was a couple years back. I used to work for the census. So that's why I'm saying we got to be careful of the information that we put out there. I work for the census and I actually dealt with data that talked about a whole lot of stuff about in the United States. So, I mean, like I said, I don't have I don't have a reason to lie. That's not my nature, is to lie. And I'm not saying it's anybody else's nature, but let's please just get close to the truth as we can when we say certain things. Let's not be bent off of emotions and or opinions. Michael, what's on your mind? You came, it ain't next year.
Sorry. No, I just want to after listening to what Donovan said about the 70% figure. So that 70% he said about black people living at the poverty level. Living at the poverty line, below, at, and above. Is that the median figure, or this is the official statistical figure?
That's the median figure.
Okay, median. Okay, yes, right. So this median figure.
And real quick, Mike, the reason, if you look at it, your reality, no matter what state you go in, show me where there's a Black Beverly Hills. If we're doing so well, where are the affluent Black communities in the United States? Name me an affluent Black community in the United States. They don't exist.
They don't exist. But I'll say this. Can I say this from my experience? I mean, I'm coming from DMV. There's one Black elite who lives in Potomac, Maryland. So you can say the exception. But you're right that they're not a majority of Black elites who are affluent or could show that collectively that they could live above of the poverty line. But when it comes to the statistical figures, so the 70% rate you're getting information from, is this from the state of California, county, people you've interviewed? Because you mentioned that.
No, it's a thing of different information. Now, again, your perception is your reality.
Right.
Show me where there is an affluent Black community, not one person, not three people. Like a good example, an affluent community, Beverly Hills, all affluent.
Right. Of course.
Predominantly white, Beverly Hills, so on, so forth. You got areas that people know about. Where is the Black? Name me one Black affluent area in the United States.
Yeah, not even one in Beverly Hills, not even one.
Okay, but can I interject here? Because we cannot name one affluent Black community in America, does that also line up with that 70% of Black people are at or below or somewhere around 70% poverty level?
No, it doesn't add up with them. But what I'm saying is that 30%, if there is an affluent area, which we can't seem to find, would be in that area. So, okay, so the 30%, I would consider myself part of that 30%, right? But I'm by myself in a community that is, marginalized, Hispanic or whatever. You see what I'm saying?
I know, because I'm with Michael and I'm with Black America. We're still trying to figure out how you come up to that number. You haven't said how you came up. If you
are receiving any form of government assistance, I don't care if it's food stamps, whatever. Wait. I don't care what it is. Black people are usually, a majority of us are usually at that level. The median income of a Black man in the United States income is $43,000, correct? Correct? Is that
a Black man, about 40,000? Yes,
that's about right. Yeah,
about right. So if that is the median income of the Black man that's working and stuff, how is that affluence? That's poverty wages by today.
Well,
that's poverty
listen, wages. One thing that I am a master of debate, okay? And what you're doing is moving the goalposts. Wait, Donovan, because you cannot hear what I'm saying, because that's how stuff gets heated. You keep on moving the goalposts. We're not talking about how many Black people are affluent. We're talking about how many are at the poverty line. Okay, you moved it, and then you also brought in welfare. We've had this discussion before. It's actually 20% of Black people in the United States are receiving some form of welfare. Now, you told me once how you came up to that number. You said that you added the numbers together, and that's 70%. Well, that's false, because 26% of the people that's on welfare, Black people in America, may also be getting cash aid, Medi-Cal, food stamps. So it's not you put all of the numbers together. So the correlation that you're drawing does not jive, because you're saying, wait. I listen and let everybody finish. And what you're doing is, I hate to say it, but I ain't gonna say it. So what you're saying that because there's no Black wealthy community, that must prove that the 70% is right. That doesn't make sense.
No, I didn't say that that's what proves 70% is right. What I'm saying is perception is your reality is your perception.
Whose reality?
Your reality, whatever your reality is. We can sit there and talk and tell ourselves how great we're doing, when the fact of the matter is we're not. Because that is why we are begging and demanding reparations, because we are in such a sorry state as a people. That's just factual. It's just factual.
Okay, how's that factual?
50% of the people are the homeless people that they project are Blacks. Again, you can go around and around and around and around. Okay? We could do it however you want to do it. If you want to say we're living great, you can go ahead and say that, but show me where that's true.
Again, I want to clarify, because I get how this sounds. Yes, it's 50% of the homeless population is Black. 50% of the Black population is not homeless. Okay, let's just make sure we make that clear, because that would also have to be the case if 70% are somewhere near the case, if 70% of Black people are at or below or around the poverty line. But as Gerard said, and listen, y'all ain't got to argue with me. Go prove me wrong. As you say, there are sources that can verify this information. People spend time studying the data. And that's what I'm saying. I've looked at the data, but I'm saying that 70% is not right. 70% of Black people are not on some form of welfare. They're just not.
I never said that. That isn't what I said. 70% on some form of welfare. That ain't what I said.
Once before, though, and you brought it up tonight.
Here's my deal. You've got your facts. I see my perception and my facts, and I'm gonna stick with that. We are not here to prove each other wrong. If that's how I feel about it, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, right. And I want to be clear. That is Donovan's opinion. And if I have an opinion that's not based on fact, it is just that. But on the Demetra K Show, I'm not passing anybody's opinion, including mine, off as a fact. Okay? Like they say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Period, point blank.
Exactly.
So, Michael, did you have anything else to add?
Oh, yes, I know. Yes.
Quickly.
So, Yes, I'll add this very quickly. I used to work in social services, so the number of clients I saw or trying to get government assistance actually Muzungus, more Muzungus than black people getting government assistance. And what you said earlier, Donovan, before, and I noticed we had this conversation about more black people getting welfare, right? That in America a lot of people get government assistance, but you look at the facts, the reality is that, and I'm going to use advanced countries in this conversation to be clear. In other advanced countries like Europe, Germany, more people on welfare, they get more generous government assistance than Americans do in America. And the government assistance that Americans get is only for like what, for 26 weeks. And after they exhaust their federal benefits, I'm sorry, after they exhaust their state benefits, they have to get supplemental unemployment assistance. And that only covers for like less than I want to say like less than additional 26 weeks. So let's just be clear on the facts.
Nah, we ain't gonna do that, Michael. But anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. We'll see you next year for real, for real.
Yeah, we'll see you next year. But I'm gonna be working on the like I said earlier, on the reparations narrative. I may have to send you an email for feedback.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Let's see, remove Michael. Let's see. Here we go back to this comment. Facts, not feelings. No, I actually want to go back to this one. You said Gerard says the median income of black men is above the poverty level. The poverty level is 26,000 for a household of 4, 12,000 for a household of 1. So again, that must be an opinion. That ain't that, because we know that, right? But
okay, wait. If you're making 26,000, right? If that's the poverty level, and I'm making 43. What did you say? 48,000? 46. So that's half of my income. So how is that affluent?
Again, you're arguing apples and oranges. You're arguing because you're not affluent, which means you must be below the poverty line. You could be not affluent and be and not be above the poverty line. Those arguments don't even correlate. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, answer this question then. If I'm making $46,000 and the poverty level is 26,000, like I said, most of us live just below, at, or above.
Okay. So is 46,000 above or below 26,000?
Above. Exactly what I said.
The average black man makes the average salary of a black man is $46,000. I want you to mull that over just a minute without having.
No, but that's what I said. That's what I said. We're just above it. We're not super rich or anything. We're just above it.
Ooh, that goalpost keep getting farther and farther. But
I don't know why. I don't know why you don't understand that. He just said 26,000 is poverty level. If I'm making 46, that's half of what I make. I'm barely at. I'm right near the poverty level.
Above is $20,000 because that's what the difference is. 20,000. So just above is $20,000.
$46,000, depending on where you live, and half of that is poverty. How am I affluent?
Repeat that.
Depending on where you live, if $46,000 is my median income and half of what I make is the poverty level, half of what I make is the poverty level, how am I affluent?
I didn't say that. What you're drawing that false narrative that not being affluent means that you're in poverty. I'm not drawing that correlation. You're drawing that.
No, I didn't say if you're not affluent, you're in poverty. What I said was 30% of us are doing okay. 70% of us hover around that number.
So you're saying 20,000 deficit, $20,000 more over the poverty line.
You ain't making it. You're barely making it. Depending on where you live, you're barely making it. $46,000 in California, that ain't going to get you nowhere, and you know that. New York is not going to get you nowhere. Parts of Texas, it's not going to get you nowhere. $46,000, you're not making it.
Goalposts moving. Facts, not feelings. Says black people are not doing well in the United States, and other groups know this. They just pretend they don't know. Okay. Let's see here. Who else has something to say? I'll just skip down. And Rodney, how are you doing? He says Phil Hill in Chicago's affluent Black American neighborhoods. Yeah, there's some. There's some. It's not where it's totally obsolete. But again, yeah, that's a Google search. You know what I mean? So I'm just not gonna be arguing every doggone thing. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Raw Vitel, how you doing? He says, and I'm trying to read what you're saying. He says, soon come my people will be lining up for involuntary slavery because them tired of living out in the elements and them sick and tired of being hungry overstand. Got you. Okay, no worries, Buckhorse. I understand. Yeah, sometimes we have connection issues. Sooty Van, how you doing? He says a lot of areas are purposely neglected to buy up or use eminent domain and keep places at a buffer zone strictly to profit. Absolutely. Dusty Hotep says the salary is stretched differently in different areas. That is true. Yeah, I'm just gonna read. Yep, I see. Sherry says, you talking about just Black men? Yeah, in that particular case, we're talking about just Black men. Lion Pride, you say 46,000 in Washington State is a joke. Even 90 can be a joke. Yeah, you know, a lot of places in the United States, $46,000 is not livable, but per the poverty line that is put in place, the numbers do not jive. We're dealing with the numbers that we are given. So that's all I'm saying. But being affluent not being affluent does not mean that you are near the poverty line. It just doesn't correlate at all. No matter how you try to draw it, unless, I don't know. Emmett Bean, how you doing? He says, according to the census, 17% of Blacks are in poverty. I know. I just okay. Those may not be facts. Gerard, you say those numbers were U.S. average from the Health and Human Services website. It may not be the accurate numbers in terms of reality or living in this country, which is what Donovan is saying. That ain't what he said at first, though. That ain't what he. Come on, wait, let me finish. Because Donovan, every time I want to say something, you want to hop on or turn off your mute button. Let me finish. That ain't what he said, though. He's saying that now, but that ain't what he said. He said that when you put the numbers in there, he said that, but that's not what he said. He kept going with the argument of affluent or not affluent. That's what he said. So I want to be clear about that because we can rewind this thing. Donovan? Okay. Miss Shantae said this is why American Express hired him. No shade, but you need a certain type of mentality. I don't know who. Maybe I missed something about that. Okay, so I don't know who that is. American Express. Emmy says, I don't think many people understand affluency. Yeah, affluency is, there's a lot of people. I would imagine only the 1% is affluent, right? Or you got to be close to the 1% to be considered affluent. It's not, well, I got a little bit of money. No, it's, pretty much the bourgeoisie, which a lot of us will never even come in contact with anybody from the bourgeoisie class, I would imagine, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. And Emmett says Donovan it seems is using anecdotal evidence. Yeah, he said that he was, which means that you said from your own experiences and from what you have seen. So you did, say that. So Emmett is not making things up there. Sharon says, then if you live in single with a family, has to be taken into consideration. Yeah, and per what Gerard put up, that said for a family of 4. And then poverty line is 12,000-ish for a single person, which we know those numbers, not hardly anybody can make it on those numbers unless you live in somewhere where the cost of living is next to nothing, Turner, and above and beyond, and forever he says, salute Donovan, peace to Black men. Absolutely. Dusty, you say below the poverty line, at the poverty line, and just above are in 3 different stats. I know that. Turner, he says, all Caucasian data is suspect. If anyone thinks $25 an hour equates to being great income, you're delusional. What Caucasian have determined as living minimum wage is a joke. Yeah, it actually needs to be about $36 an hour for anybody to, be all right, be able to take care of themselves without having 52 jobs to put along with that. So, yeah, we know that the data is suspect, but I think that some of it is right. So I don't know. Hi Cube, how you doing? It says a standard for poverty and the rich is net worth, not median income rather. It says black people's total net worth is about 2% of the net worth of American household. Yeah, if that. So that I agree with. But does that say that 70% of us are living in poverty? Because I just looked and it says there's 2 million black millionaires in America, which is about not even 2% of the total millionaire class. But again, as Donovan has said, a lot of people say we're only 13%, give or take, of the population. And some people say even the 13% is suspect, that we are potentially more of that. But then are we really, if you add in all the other blacks per se, Africans, Caribbeans, South Americans, are we really, if we take all those number away, how many black Americans are there actually in America?
Right, and then you got to take into consideration the thing of a millionaire. Technically, by the standard, I'm a millionaire.
Me too.
You know what I mean? My house is worth median income of $800,000. That's just a shack in California. So I would be a millionaire, technically. So it depends on how you want to manipulate the numbers.
Sharon says the inflation is really making it difficult when apartments can take their rent up to $200 to $300 yearly, and you have to either keep moving from apartment to apartment, catching new lease specials. Otherwise, you end up with a mortgage payment. Yeah, at that rate, it's just cheaper to buy a house. But then buying a house is not like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to buy a house now. You got to have the credit. You got to qualify for the loan. You got to have a down payment. It's just a lot going into it. But you know what? The landlords are going to end up screwing themselves out of renters pretty soon, because as Donovan said too earlier, people are going to have to shack up with each other, and a lot of people, millennials, they're not able to leave the house because, for one, it's like, I ain't making no 3 times the rent, and $2,000 for rent is good in a lot of places. So it's even more than that in some places. So you expect people to make $6,000 to $9,000 a month with a Taco Bell? Like, where are they supposed to be getting that? So you're absolutely right, but the landlord's going to screw themselves in the long run.
Right, and then you got to think of the eviction crisis that's going on in the United States right now. Who does that predominantly affect? Group-wise, according to whatever they're saying. There was 3,300 evictions, or was it 1,000? No, I think it was 3,300 or something like that, in Atlanta alone in the month of August. And that's predominantly affecting the black community. So again, depending on what numbers you're using, whatever, all I'm saying is we can sit here and fool ourselves as black people all we want, but we are now a permanent underclass. That's the bottom line of it. And if you're a permanent underclass, that means you're not making it.
Hello, Stormbet. How you doing? It says, sadly, prior to segregation, there were lots of black businesses. MLK was killed in a black-owned hotel. Talk about it. Absolutely. And let's see here. And GP, how you doing? You going to work out and all that? Or I hope you have a safe New Year's Eve. I know you're always going on dates and stuff like that. I'm sure you'll fill us in. Affluency isn't a class, but I would imagine to be affluent, you have to be pretty close to the 1% of wealth earners or income earners, if you will, in America. Damon, you say, I'm dollar store rich, but department store poor. Got you. Raj, you say, oops, let me put this up here. You say black women and children are hardest hit by evictions. That is the truth. And steady rising. And as I don't remember who said it, but in 2024, we should think about black men and black women getting together, because that's how we're going to save black people. That's how we're going to save the black family, is actually getting the black family together. But talking about all this separation and divisiveness, if you will, in our community, that's not how we save our community. Of course, the black woman is going to be the most evicted if she's the most single, and the most left in the household with the children. Of course, she's going to be the most evicted if she's not keeping up with income to take care of herself. So, yeah, it makes sense to have a black partner in the home, a black man in the home. To me, it's a simple fix, but I guess maybe not. Michael said Californians are raising prices in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and they say in Texas as well. But they figure people in California have some money, but it's like Californians only have that money. Yeah, even if you sold your house or whatever, you go somewhere else where it's cheaper, you buy a house, you might have some money in the bank. But that also is dependent upon if you got a job. that's, in California, whatever, that's still paying you California wages, but you might have to come to Texas and get a Texan job that don't pay nearly what they're paying in California to work, because the cost of living is a lot differently. Well, it's still, but it's closing. The gap is. Your average logical thinker, how are you doing? He says, just getting on here. Looks like I missed a great discussion. Yes, you have to rewatch that. And Jordan, how you doing? He says, come peace, come joy, come love. Absolutely. I like that. And Turner, you say, as a community, we would be the 10th strongest independent nation on earth, $1.8 trillion GDP, spending power. We have money and wealth, but not having unity is our historical contemporary issue. And that's exactly right. So make that make sense, right? We got all that money, but we just ain't keeping it. That's the problem. So you're right. Facts, not feelings. So we're about to get out of here because I hear them popping the fireworks already. Say black men and women can't get another get together until black women are put in check. I'm gonna save my breath for next year. I'm gonna save my breath for next year. I should say black women's names are on the lease. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute though. Conscious Esther said we are not a permanent underclass. Please expound on that, because how are we not a permanent underclass? Everybody else, you got illegals that are coming here getting resources that we should have been had. How are we not a permanent underclass? We're not getting the resources we need. How are we not? You see the delusion that goes on in the black community? It's delusional.
Yeah, and we are a permanent underclass. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about that in the 90s, right? Us becoming a permanent underclass. Back then, he said if we don't do something to right the course, he talked about group economics and the 5 floors that we needed to participate and on in order to not become a permanent underclass, and we have not worked on that. Y'all can Google those, but it's education, politics, the court system, media, and building businesses. Just to name a few of those. If not, I think I named them all, and we have not done a good job at that. As Turner said, we have almost $2 trillion coming to our community every year. We just don't keep it because we don't have those things operating as everybody else's community. So I would say it's pretty safe to say that we are a permanent underclass. Now, permanent means forever. Is there ways we can minimize that? Yeah, I think so. And I think we're starting to see a lot of that, especially with black people coming on code in regards to the Democrats. We're starting to see a little movement, but I think we're there. Conscious. I don't know if you knew that or not. Facts, not feelings says black men and women can't get together until 70% of black women stop having babies with 12% of black men. Okay. GP say I'm about to start getting ready to head to the gym. I'll be a few hours because I have ADHD and average workouts don't satisfy my body. I do 500 reps per set, 8,000 to 10,000 reps per exercise. Damn. Talk to you later. Well, you be careful out there. Yes, Miss Sweet talks to you. Dr. Claude Anderson, who's up there in age, he's been talking about that for a very long time. Turner say, may Allah bless all black people who are striving to be righteous with a peaceful and prosperous 2024, because Lord knows we need it, right? I'm with you on that. I co-sign that. But of course, it says black folks are going to do tonight, somebody going to make babies. Oh, Lord. Another thing, let's just have a little conversation about it, Donovan. New Year's Eve, we talk about this a lot. New Year's Eve, how much money are we going to spend as black people?
A whole grip. A lot of us, like I said, we love to party and celebrate just stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is, Demetra, how many of us went into debt to give our kids a great Christmas? How much did we spend to give our kids a great Christmas facing eviction come February? Right. So yeah, with that, that doesn't help us stay in our homes, or surmount the poverty that we find ourselves in. There's a whole lot of black people who are going to be partying, like it's 1999 tonight, drinking and smoking and eating and booty shaking and a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the first is tomorrow. The landlord ain't going to give a damn about all of that. Oh, you had a good time. Where my money? Where my money at? Yeah, not only the landlord, the Jehovah's Witnesses are going to start knocking at your door early. And I'm going to be hiding behind it like, shh, don't say nothing. Be quiet. Excuse me, have you heard of the Lord on a Friday?
I told y'all the story about one of my supervisors back in the day for Frito-Lay. He says the Jehovah's Witnesses, and no shade to Jehovah's Witnesses, but they used to come to his door all the time. And so they, ram the little watchtower thing in his face. Oh, we want to talk to you. And he says, okay, fine. Okay. I'm going to take this watchtower, but then they have to go back and do a follow-up visit to see what you gained. And if you're ready to become one of the 44,000 that's supposedly going to go into heaven. Okay. So he says, when you come back for your follow-up meeting, then y'all going to listen to me. And they said, okay, bet. They agreed. So he took the watchtower, and I'm sure he didn't read it. So they came back for the follow-up visit. So he invited them in. He said it was some old, ladies or whatever. Sat them on the couch, and he said, I'll be right back. He says, but before he went upstairs, he pressed play on the VCR, and it was a porno tape in there. He said he pressed play. He said when he came back, they was gone. Oh, he's probably going to hell for that one. But nevertheless, he said they never came back. He said because they were persistent. They were persistent. They weren't taking no for an answer. But he said, I think I solved the problem. So yeah, those old ladies like, nah, he going to hell for real. Ain't nothing we can do or say for him.
Right. But then let's get back to seriousness there. We know that a lot of people went into debt to give their kids a Christmas. We know people are going to be partying tonight. And like I said, we're not here to judge you, whatever you want to do. But we know that the rent is due on the 1st. And remember last year, your tax check got delayed until July. Some people didn't get it until July and June. The moratorium is up. They want their money. But we put ourselves in this position, and yet we run around all year long, talk about we got it, ain't nothing wrong, we're great, we're doing this, we're doing that. It's delusion in our community because reality is what we see. Reality is what we see. Forget all these numbers. In my neighborhood, there used to be a nice balance of black and white and all this other stuff. I'm the last black man standing in my neighborhood. That's reality. We're not making it. California, there's a mass exodus of black people out of California. Those are the facts. We are not making it. We are a permanent underclass. How you can say we're not? How can you say we're not? We're leading in eviction. We're leading in this. We're leading in that. I mean, all kinds of shows talk. Vicky Diller talks about it. Tim Black talks about it. Brother Phil Scott talks about it. Demetra K talks about it sometimes. We talk about this stuff. And yet we sit here and say, oh, we're doing fine. Everything's great. Okay. All right.
Yeah, there is a lot of disparity in the black community, but I think we don't talk enough about the money that we do have. As Turner Ira said, we do have about $2 trillion coming in our community, and would make up about this at the 9th, 11th, 10th largest country as far as economically if we were to keep that money, but we know we don't, right? We know we give 97% of that away. So I personally like to spend a lot of time talking about how we could keep it, Yeah, we know we have those things going on, but let's talk about the money that we do have, the money that we don't keep. Like I said, New Year's Eve is here. And one thing we gonna do as black people, we ain't gonna show up. No, this tonight of all nights, you won't see a bonnet in sight. We finally gonna get to see what's under those bonnets, those nice hairstyles. They're gonna come with a nice outfit. They done went to the mall to get.
You gonna see that new female tattoo chest?
Wow. The brothers gonna be sharp as a tack. They ain't gonna have them slides on their feet. The white beaters, they gonna look nice, right? You gonna spend. Listen, back in the day, Donovan, when we was going to Monopolies, Club Metro, and Red Onion, and all that, was paying $5 to get in that mug. They paying hundreds of dollars to get into the club on New Year's. I wish I would, so I could get in there and be wall to wall with people. I don't think so.
And then have the nerve to stiff the babysitter.
Right, and don't come home
next week. Yeah.
And don't come home on time. Talking about you're supposed to be back at 2 a.m. Coming in at 9 a.m. talking about, oh well, what happened was, well, you was gonna sleep anyway. You just slept over at my house. Easy, you crazy. Talk about new weed, all that.
Oh my gosh, yes, the $300 hairstyles. I mean, the money that we're going to spend, and like I said, it's and then the sad thing is then we want somebody to have grace and bail us out. And bail us out. You know, and Demetri, I'm going to say this. And I was talking to my mom this morning. She said one of the things that my brother and I were not raised with was empathy for others. And I don't. And I admit that. I don't have empathy for others because I believe people make conscious decisions for themselves. And you got to live with those decisions. Just like the decisions I make, I got to live with my decisions. So you put yourself in that position and you expect everybody to, you know, put the hat out and give you the money or be out there for the car wash because you didn't put insurance on your children or whatever. And, you know, we constantly do these things and we just keep digging that hole. We just keep digging ourselves as a hole. And logical average thinker said it correctly. Everybody thinks individually. We don't think as a collective. Yep. As a collective, yeah, we've got the money. But when you're spending $300 because your kid should have Jordans and the boy can't play a lick of basketball, it's crazy. It's just insanity. But go ahead and keep making yourselves feel good because old Uncle Sugar, he's had enough. He's had enough, and he's bringing in other people and giving them all of the resources.
I'm tired of you and your Uncle Sugar. I really am. Okay. Brother Sammy said January is a month, a long month for teachers because they get their last check right before they get out for the Christmas break, especially for the new teachers. Woo, that's where it comes in handy to be a good saver. When you get that one-time check, yeah, you got to allocate that all throughout the month. Donovan, you were in the military. Y'all got paid once a month, didn't you?
We get paid twice a month if you're activity. Now, if you're retired like me, you get paid once a month.
Yeah, so you got to make that money stretch. You can't be like, I got a lump sum, and then by the 5th of the month, it's like, oh. Ew.
And then think about this. Everybody that's out here on this Cash App stuff, and a lot of people do their payments online. You just took $300 out of your budget. You don't know when that the light bill people are going to hit in your account and take that money out, and you get the.
Yeah, back in the day, you could float a check, right? It's like on Roseanne Barr, the Roseanne Barr show. Remember when she wrote the check to the cable company that was supposed to go to the light company? I wonder how many people actually did that.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Those days are long gone. We're in a technological age and all this other stuff. It's just crazy. And you know, and here's something I want you guys to think about. People that got the money, they don't have a Cash App. I understand if they have a business or something like that. I understand how that works for the business aspect. But the average person that is making it, they don't deal in Cash App and Venmo and all that other stuff unless they're doing a business like Demetri. She's doing a business, so you know she's doing her thing, whatever the deal is. But the average person that has money, they don't engage in that stuff. They don't. They because there's no need to. There's just no need to because they've already got the money. They've got the money.
Right. Are you talking about like getting Cash Apps and stuff like that? Yeah, it's just a different form of payment or whatever. But yeah, all I can say is this, y'all. This has been a wonderful year. We've had a lot of great conversations on here, some very heated, some, you know, really insightful, I think, for the most part. And you, how you doing? Since rich or poor, we all need some therapy. You ain't lying about that. I think that's what I'm going to partake in a little bit more in 2024 is some therapy. I've gone to therapy a couple of times. I thought it was very helpful. I think I might go again just to, you know, just to talk, you know, hey, you know, whatever. Because we all need to talk to somebody. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Thank you so much for sending your salutations, if you will. But as I was saying, 2024, I'm looking forward to, you know, just more great spirited conversations, of course, with the intent to learn from you all and to impart wisdom upon you as well. Y'all let us know what y'all would like us to talk about. Of course, 2024 is the election season, so we are going to talk more about politics. Because we need to enlighten each other about, especially about the Democrats that we give, you know, most of our vote to. But as for me, this evening, I am going to go to sleep because I like to go to sleep early. I get up early and I like to go to sleep early. But as I reflect on this past year for me, yes, you can, Sharon, you can DM me. But as for me, it's been a year of reflection, you know, a year of healing and just a whole lot of stuff. And I, you know, sometimes gets very sentimental when I think of my life because I've been through a lot. And I'm not special. We've all been through a lot of stuff. But I've been through a lot of stuff, and a lot of times I make posts and I, put them up on YouTube or Facebook, and that's real stuff that comes out of my mind that I think about. And I put up a post not too long ago, and I said the stuff that a lot of us have been through would have taken a lot of people out of here. They would not have survived the things that we have gone through in life, whatever it is. And so it's just really a testament to how strong we are, and how much we want to overcome the things that have happened to us, regardless of what it is. But this year especially, I've learned not to take things personally, because a lot of times when we take things personally, we get in our feelings, right? And we internalize everything. Oh, why did they do that to me? Or why did they say that to me? It had nothing to do with you personally. It had everything to do with them as a person, right? And so I've also learned to take my bumps and my bruises and to keep on pushing. Another thing that I've learned is to get back to myself, because a lot of times when we go through things, y'all hear the fireworks out there? I don't know if y'all hear them, but a lot of times when we go through things, we lose ourselves, right? We forget who we are. We forget who are we mentally. Sometimes we let ourselves go. And so this past year, I've rediscovered myself. I've rediscovered how great I am. I've also learned to not try to please everybody, because that's something you'll die trying to do. There's not been one person, even Jesus, right? Depending on what you believe, has not pleased everybody. God has not pleased everybody. So that God and Jesus have not pleased everybody. Who are we to say that I'm going to try to please everybody? It's impossible. As I said earlier, try to please yourself. Go to bed every night saying, did I please myself today? Did I make myself proud today? And if you can answer yes to most of those things, then you've done a great job. When you wake up in the morning, you say, my goal is to please myself, be happy with myself, and everything else that comes along with it, whether it's a person, it's money, whatever it is, that's an additive on what I already have. And so for me in 2024, straight to the top, straight to the top. I don't care what it is. I love to bring a lot of people with me or whatever the case is. But if they don't want to go or whatever, guess what? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, because it's been prophesied to me by a lot of people, including my mama, who is not here. She says, I see great things for you. In fact, I talk about this all the time. It's on my voicemail. She said to me, this was like 2013, I see you on TV. I can't wait to see your television show. I'm like, oh, wow. I never saw what she saw back then. I'm starting to see these things now. And so I guess what I'm saying to y'all is, as we leave this year, whatever it is that you've been through in 2023, it's in the past, right? If you got to look back, which you're not supposed to do, if you got to look back and say, okay, how can I do things differently? What did I do that may have caused this to happen, or whatever the case? And I'm going to say this too. Now, I might get in a little bit of trouble. Some of us might got to let some people go. Yes, Donovan, it's time for you. I'm just playing. Some of us might got to cut some people off. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm saying, if you got people in your life that has been no earthly good to you, no way, shape, or form, why are they still around? If you've been more of an asset to somebody than they have been to you, and I'm not saying we're friends with people because we should be doing equally. We're going to have friendships where somebody's going to do more for us and we may do more for them. But if you got a leech in your life, let them go. Let them go find another warm body that they gonna suck from, and all of that other stuff. But you got to get them up off of you. Everybody can't go where you are going. And so again, 2023 was some good, some bad. But guess what? It's still early now. I don't know. We all made it to 2024. There's a lot of people who didn't do that, and if they are still physically here, a lot of people didn't make it to 2024 in their right mind. A lot of people will never be the same due to something that happened in their life. They'll never. And I say never be the same because we should be changing and evolving, but some people never be the same in a bad way. Their mind is forever gone due to something they could not overcome. So it's going to be a good year. And that I'm sure of.
And real quick, I just want to add the one thing we did not talk about that was phenomenal this year that made a difference. I got to give a shout out to my girl, Sha'Carri Richardson. She put the city girl BS away and handled business and did an excellent job this year. And I hope that a lot of the city girls will look at what she did. There's a time and a place to be a city girl, if that's what you're going to do. Like I said, I'm not here to judge, if you want to go out there and pop your thing, whatever. There's a time and a place for all that. When Sha'Carri Richardson realized, hey, I got to make this money now. I'm not going to be all this thing. Let me put this foolishness away now. And she was smart enough to realize and listen to the people that were around her. She started winning. She started winning. If you want to win, listen to the people who have the experience and the knowledge. So who are in our lives are mostly those people. Yeah, you got some crazy elders out there, but I'm very sure you guys can understand the ones that you respect and have some sense. We got to get back to listening to our elders that have the experience, that have been there, that have done it. How the hell are you going to sit here and tell me how the people who are descendants of slaves and were probably sharecroppers could go out there, get a house in the environment, in racial environment that they got a house in, sacrifice, raise 12, 13 children in that house that they sacrificed for, only to pass it down to the grandkids or the next generation, whatever, for them to sell it automatically, and then we'd be homeless. Let's set things straight. Let's bring shame back to the community. Let's set the house up right. Can we save ourselves from being a permanent underclass? It's possible. There's a chance. There's always a chance. But if you're sitting here thinking you're not a permanent underclass and you got the same skin as me, you're fooling yourself right now. Especially if you're out there doing, street stuff and city girl stuff and not handling business. Let's handle the business. Like old Richard Pryor used to say, hey, you can snort all the cocaine you want to snort. Just put the money away and snort the interest. That's what we got to start doing. Snort the interest. All right. So you guys be safe out there. Have a happy new year. I'm going to be here with my cats. And Demetra, I happen to be one of the people that understood what your mom was saying about your thing, and I've witnessed it. And I have no doubt it's just going to be bigger and better things as you progress.
And yeah, and I always say this, but I want to say it again. Yeah, Donovan is large in part responsible for me being on YouTube. I was not on YouTube. I was only on Facebook. What did you used to call me? What was it? What did you call me?
Honesta? No, go ahead.
Have you? I swear. Fire Queen or something. Yeah.
Fair Queen. Yeah.
Fair Queen. So he was like, you gotta get it on more platforms. I was like, okay, finally, all right. So that's how I ended up on YouTube. It's because Donovan was like, you gotta get on YouTube. More people, need to hear what you're saying. And so, y'all can thank Donovan for these very spirited debates and stuff we be having. Also want to let y'all know, we get into it, but it's always all love at the end of the day. So again, Facts Not Feelings says, I wish I wake up in 2024 where every Black woman in public is in a beautiful, elegant hijab. He says, with her lovely body modestly covered, hope she feels safe and protected by the Black man around her. I like that. I actually wish for that too. I do.
Facts Not Feelings. I tell Demetra all the time, your hands are showing. Your hands are showing.
Yeah, and I've actually done that. Start to dress, cover up more just to be modest, because we can be beautiful and modestly dressed. We can be. So anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all have a great new year. And Donovan, I know as a vet, sometimes these little fireworks and stuff get to you. So, you cover your ears or whatever you got to do. I know you're going to be looking out for your animals.
No, I got the AR already ready. I might have a flashback. You just never know. You never know.
You're Rambo. They're standing up on the rooftop. Don't do it, brother. Don't do it. So anyway, we'll see y'all. Y'all all be blessed, and we'll see y'all next year. Peace.